Ladies and gentlemen, my name is
Scott.
Hey, yo. Is that his younger brother? It's gonna be
Jeff.
The cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
And you're listening to
all of the great action figures from our good friends at Hasbro.
the Fullyposeable
Have your own WrestleMania with all your favorite figures.
Wrestling Figure
Each sold separately from LJN.
Podcast.
And we are the Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling.
Hello, and welcome to episode 200. Episode 200 of the Fullyposeable Wrestling Figure Podcast, the longest-running episodic wrestling figure podcast going today, as recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records. While that last part may or may not be true, what is damn true is that sitting alongside me is your real-life host and my real-life brother, Jeff, and three of our best friends who are going to do episode 200 with us to make it extra special for you guys. And what I'd like to do is, first, Jeff, say hello.
My God, give me that phone right now, dude. This was terrible.
It was the best intro ever. You're just jealous.
Because you're reading off your phone.
Okay, but now I'm not reading off my phone anymore.
Oh,
now the rest of this is going to be completely off the cuff.
Hello. Dude, that was... Okay, so
What do you tell me to say every week to start off the show? What is the first word out of my mouth?
That was terrible, dude.
No, it wasn't.
You're never doing...
Don't tell me how to live my life. I'll be at episode 300 and I will read the same shit off of my phone. Watch.
I'm taking over because that was so bad.
You're not. No. No, this is my jam. I'm doing the intro. You've been threatening me for weeks. Every 100 episodes, I get to do the intro.
All right, go ahead. I said hello already. Go ahead.
Okay, you did say hello.
I did say hello.
Good. So the reason I let off with hello is because every week when we do our show, first thing you tell me to say is
Hello.
There you go. That's why I let off the show with hello.
I want to pull back the curtain a little bit, though. I want to tell the listeners that Scott is reading off of his phone. That's why it sounded so rehearsed.
Yeah, the first opening segment part was scripted. Yes, but now the rest of this
introduction ever.
This was hilarious, though. I mean, it's like so funny, dude, because he was like, you could tell there was a script in front of me.
Yes.
I'd like to say that didn't sound rehearsed at all. It sounded like he didn't practice at all.
No, I totally didn't practice it. I typed it up like while we were eating pizza before recording. That's how organized I was.
Your
Who
lips
farted?
move when you read.
Who farted?
It wasn't
Already, we're like 2 minutes into the episode and somebody already farted. I mean, come on. This thing is already going off the rails. You
so
see
this
why I
is-
don't do the introductions?
Oh, wow,
Okay,
that's
this is
bad.
a train wreck already.
It's foul, dude.
So I'm going to go, and to my right is special guest Sean. Sean, welcome back to the show.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's bad. Sitting next
is
to
that?
Sean is a friend of ours who we have mentioned on the show numerous times. Ed, how are you doing over there, man?
Wait, you're talking about me on the show?
Yeah, we talked about you.
A
You
little
gotta-
bit.
Yeah, it helps if when you listen. And sitting across from us is the gentleman we've mentioned numerous times. His name is Dave. Dave is the one that has had the aircraft carrier.
Yes, Dave of aircraft carrier fame, or most famously known on our show as Big Dave.
Dave, how you doing over there, man?
What's up, fellas?
Do you still have the aircraft carrier?
I do.
Where is it?
It's in my parents' shed, along with all of my other toys.
Okay, wait, what other toys are in there right now?
Everything I've ever owned.
Star Wars.
Star Wars, G.I. Joe, He-Man, LJNs.
So
I don't even remember who I have, but I know I have.
You
I
did
the
have
ring.
some.
I have the ring. I wasn't up to your guys' level, but I had the ring and some.
So are the
I don't even remember.
LJNs still in pristine condition and everything, or?
No clue.
Are they in shed condition?
They are in shed condition.
Perfect shed
Cardboard
condition.
box, shed condition. So whatever that is, that's what they're in.
Weather beaten.
So basically what the show's going to be is it's just a bunch of friends sitting around a table celebrating episode 200.
Okay, so again, you should probably pull back the curtain and tell them what's going on at this table.
So Ed likes to fidget. He's already messing with my loose figure collection. In his hand is Macho Man.
the defining moments,
Yes.
WrestleMania 3 Macho Man.
And he has Elizabeth with him, and I'm going to just leave it right there.
It's a poseable podcast.
It is.
You are posing the figures.
That is-
You are doing
Isn't
this.
that what it's for?
Yes.
Fully posable.
Yes.
Fully poseable.
Yes. That then now forever Elizabeth is in fact fully posable.
So, Scott, why don't you go ahead and drop the credentials, see where
No.
everybody can get the shirts and...
Yes. If you are interested in any fully posable merch, you can head over to Pro Wrestling Tees or whatamaneuver.net. You can listen to the podcast on Stitcher, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify. You can give us a follow on Twitter at Fullyposeable. And that would pretty much round out where you can get our merch and where you can follow us. Did I do okay on that, Jeff?
No, you need to get your phone, dude. Where's your phone?
Oh, I didn't script that part out.
Oh, and you can also send us any emails, audio questions, anything else at all to fullyposeablewfp@gmail.com. So there's going to be...
Sorry, just for old time's sake, can we spell out what the WF and P stand for?
Ooh.
Oh. Well, that's a huge curveball.
Yes.
That is a huge curveball.
I was not prepared for this.
I was not either, because we don't remember which W, F, and P we've used in the
Yeah,
past.
because we stopped it.
F is in Frankie the Bird.
I think we used that one.
Yeah, it's been 100 and some odd episodes.
We probably used Fred Ottman.
Yes, I think we did use
Yeah.
Fred. Dave, you listen to the show every week. Do you remember any of them?
No, but I know you've used a bunch of them. Like, I can't remember which ones, but I'd say just wing it. It's 200. What the hey?
Right.
Wait,
Just
how
wing
about
it.
some newer wrestlers? Okay, MJF. So for the F, there's MJF.
Okay. That was a reach. But, okay.
Yeah, that's kinda-
Okay.
We weren't prepared for this, so we're going to do
P,
this.
Pentagon Jr.
There you go.
I think I might have used that
And
one.
W, Walter.
That's it.
Done. There's your WFP, Sean.
How come
Yeah.
it's not Warren?
Scott Warren?
Mhm.
No.
Yeah.
I don't count. I'm not a wrestler. I'm just a podcaster.
You're a wrestling podcaster.
I'm a wrestling figure podcaster, more
So
precisely.
you do wear tights.
Sometimes.
I don't know if you guys know this, but you're like super famous podcasters.
We know.
Okay.
Yeah, we know.
All right.
We
Just
know.
checking. All right.
Those are our credentials.
Okay.
Might have been seen at the Toys That Made Us, too.
And also in the Guinness Book of World Records.
I heard that somewhere.
Allegedly.
I don't remember.
It could also be
Allegedly.
Guinness Beer's World Record Book. Not the Guinness Book of World Records. But like Guinness Beer.
Just the Guinness record book.
Yes,
Oh.
exactly.
So the reason we had these gentlemen with us is because they know us better than anyone, basically. They know our backstory. Sean, we've been best friends since 4th grade. Ed, we've been good friends since... Yes, number 4. Ed, we've been great friends since 8th grade. Dave, you've known us for 40-something years.
I've known Dave my whole life.
Yeah. I think Dave was there when you were born or something.
Probably.
I think
Yeah.
he was the one that spanked you on the ass. So
I think he cut the cord, too.
that's right.
Good job, sir. Good job.
I do what I can. What
it's
do I
your
say?
fault.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Keith, step aside.
Dave's got this. He's gonna
Dave's
chew on
already
that thing.
talking at like 3 months. So that's why we wanted these gentlemen on to kind of tell stories of toy spotting past and instances. We were going to have one other person on. We were going to have Nathan on, but he decided to back out, unfortunately.
Or not, unfortunately.
Well, no, because Dave... sorry. You're Dave. So Nathan actually has some great stories where we just ripped him a new one, and it's just so many. But those are going to get told tonight.
Yes, they will. So Nathan will be the punching bag without actually being here to take the punches.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. So,
He's here in spirit.
Exactly.
There'll be a lot less crying with it not here.
Yes, that is true. That's true.
so I'm going to go around the table. Dave, 45 years old, collecting anything nowadays?
Mostly, I still do Star Wars. That's my main jam is Star Wars and Funkos. Once you're in,
That's it.
you're in.
The hooks
Basically.
No
get you.
stopping.
No wrestling figures, no.
I get wrestling figures now and again, not as much as you guys or a ton of the listeners, but because for me, wrestling figures, I have to like the person. If I don't like them, I don't get it. So I'm not like, oh, I got to add a Kamala to my collection. It's like,
So you're not after chase figures.
if I see them, I'll get them for you guys or I'll let you guys know. But otherwise, yeah, no. Well,
Ed, how about you? You collecting anything?
No.
Not-
It's riveting stuff.
Thank you, Ed. So that was great. That was fantastic.
So happy we had that on.
We sat on the edge of our seats for all of 2 seconds. So, Sean, how about you? You collect anything?
Mostly ulcers.
Those are...
Hemorrhoids?
No.
Lucky you.
Yes, yeah.
Lucky you.
Yeah, there was a blind bag one time where I thought I got one, but no, I didn't.
Good for you.
Thanks, yeah.
Good for you.
So you're not collecting anything at all?
I collect Aquaman figures.
That is true.
Yes.
But the old school Aquaman.
All of them.
Even the new... Wait, you don't collect the new guy that much?
I have a couple of the new one, Jason Momoa.
Right.
I do get the occasional wrestling figure still. I look for you guys more often than I do for myself.
Correct.
I just bought 5 Funkos yesterday because it was a nice sale.
What'd you get?
So my wife got 2 from the movie Coraline, and my daughter got 3 from Captain Marvel. She loves that movie.
So you didn't get any, though?
No. So when I go out with my wife and daughter, I rarely ever come back with anything.
Okay.
Besides less money.
Correct.
That's kind of like when we go to the San Jose Toy Show.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I come back with less money and nothing for myself.
Scott, did you do any toy spotting?
No. To be perfectly honest, I am still on hiatus because of upcoming trips in December. So as I mentioned last week, I had to slam both feet down on the brakes and pump to a stop all toy collecting for the time being. I am going to pre-order the Okada before the pre-order window's up, but that's going to be it until the new year for sure.
Riveting stuff.
Thank you.
Do you know Ed over here?
Yeah. Yeah, we don't talk.
Dave, how about you?
Mostly when you make the old run to Target, you swing by, see what they got. Generally in my area, in the old East Bay, Walnut Creek, nothing.
Nothing
So,
at all?
Very rarely.
So I was about to text you and let you know that the Walnut Creek numbers jumped for Pop Finder the other day.
Okay.
But that number has stayed stagnant for the past 3 weeks now, so I don't know what's going on over there, if they actually have 18 figures on the pegs.
Or they're hiding in the back.
Or they're hiding in the back.
I believe they would probably be hiding in the back because I haven't seen... You know what? Someone told me they might be hiding in the back.
So, Ed, are you still collecting Matchbox?
No.
Brilliant.
I'm telling you, this guy's gold.
So far, he's my favorite guest ever.
Yeah, he's going to win the award. Episode 200, they're going to be like, why haven't you had Ed on for the last 199 episodes? This guy's amazing.
So as I said, we don't have any news. We don't have anything to report. We basically shot our wad last week.
So to speak.
So we're just going to sit around like a campfire, tell stories. As I said, these guys have gone to numerous toy trips with us. So many stories. Sean, you've been part of quite a few. Ed, you've been part of quite a few. Ed, you're Ed. Dave, same thing. I've called you Nathan and Ed so far.
Should we get name tags?
Yes.
Name tags would help.
We should also label these XLR cables too. So Scott, what is some of your favorite memories with these guys? Like, what are some of your favorite memories going toy spotting with Sean, Ed, Dave? What are some that come to your mind right away?
One of my favorites is actually with Dave when we went to the Hayward Toys R Us. And as you guys all know, all the stories we've told about Hayward Toys R Us and Barbara, probably on my third phone call that day, she confirmed that they had gotten in a case of LJNs, and she put aside Ricky Steamboat and George the Animal Steel for us. So sure enough, Dad gets home. He takes the three of us to Toys R Us in Hayward. We go see Barbara. She pulls out the George and the Ricky from the back, and I think you got a Ricky and George as well. And we went home. We opened them up. We brought the entire ring and all of the wrestling figures downstairs. And we had gone to the video store after Toys R Us, and we rented Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yes.
So we sat downstairs, we played with our LJNs, and we watched Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Scott, can you please explain what a video store is, Scott?
What a video. Oh, you know what? That's actually a valid point.
That is... look at this guy.
Yeah, no, that's...
2 words, and then he comes out with this. He's like Silent Bob.
He's like Silent Bob podcasting. Incredible. So a video store, for those of you that have never been to one before, was a place where you could go and rent VHS tapes. Ed, before you can ask, a VHS tape was a cassette that had a movie or an event like a WrestleMania, or there were music VHSs that had concerts on them, and you'd put them into a device called the VCR. Before you can ask what that is, Ed, a VCR would play your VHS cassette tapes, and you would be able to watch whatever movie or concert that you wanted to on it. And so in this case, we rented Pee-wee's Big Adventure on VHS, which I've already explained to you, Ed, what that is, on our VCR, which you also have an explanation for. And it was an incredible night. And I think we had pizza and played wrestling figures, and that was a good time.
So basically it's an 8-track with pictures?
8-tracks were a little bit smaller, but close.
Okay, all right.
Close.
All right, I got it. I'm on the same page.
Now,
Yes.
Dave, do you remember any of these stories?
Yeah, sort of. Not quite as much as you guys do, but I do. Like, I always remember Scott calling, like, all the time. Like,
All the time.
3 to 4 times a day. Like,
Yep, we'd wake up,
oh, is there
first
something
thing,
in? Is there something in?
785-5800. I still remember it. Yeah, it was on speed dial almost. Like, we'd wake up in the morning and be like, oh, dude, I gotta call Barbara.
Did Barbara ever get mad at you or like lose
Never.
her patience with you?
No, dude, she was incredible.
So she's a saint, is what you're telling me.
She really was, like Angel Barbara. Like, she was absolutely incredible. I could call her from opening until close, and she knew
And
my
you
voice
did?
after a point. Yeah,
And
and
you
I
did?
would. Because she'd be like, I don't know what time the truck's coming in. I'm like, don't worry, I'll call back.
So would you say that she's might be responsible for this podcast 30-something years later?
In a way, yes. She could be. I mean, she played a huge part in it, just like John at Village Toy Shop. Absolutely is a huge hand in this podcast. As much as our parents are, as much as Jeff is, as myself. Yeah, definitely.
So Angel Barbara is your next t-shirt, by the way.
It might be.
Yeah.
Yes, Angel
Yeah.
Barbara with 5'10", 7'85", 5800.
May want to check and see if that phone number goes to anything anymore.
Oh, that's a
before
good
you go
point.
put it on a t-shirt.
We should probably call it on the air right now, like, just to see if anybody picks up. She's like,
All right.
hello, this is Barbara. Like, oh my God, hang up.
So,
have you gotten your LJNs, Barbara?
Any new LJNs? One other one I'd like to tell is when the Hasbros came out, we called Barbara again, and I think it was the second call of the day, and she confirmed that they had gotten the new WWF figures in, the new Hasbros. So, again, Dad gets home. You and I are waiting for him at the door. Dad, please take us to Toys R Us. He's like, fine, come to the laundromat with me, help clean. Dave went. The three of us knocked that out. Afterwards, we went to Toys R Us, and Dad bought us the ring and the entire Series 1. And the three of us went home with this humongous Toys R Us bag, if you can picture it. Just a huge Toys R Us bag, the ring, all the figures. We go downstairs. We're watching a Giants game, I think.
Yeah.
They're playing the Cardinals or something. And we're opening up Hasbros.
What was the score?
It might have been 3-2 Giants at that point. Kevin Mitchell had hit a home run in that game.
That's a solid question, Ed.
Yeah, it is. This guy's bringing it. Gold. But we opened up all the Hasbros. We opened up the ring. We sat down there, admired how cool the figures were. But just, again, another good time of just being kids and getting wrestling figures.
Dave, do you remember that?
Not really, but it sounds foreseeable because I remember you guys would get all the LJNs, the Hasbros.
Yes.
Because I stopped after the LJNs because we were kind of getting to high school, so, like too cool for, that kind of stuff. So I didn't stop. So I basically just came over to your guys' house and, saw what you guys had and played with yours.
Yeah.
Yep,
like
exactly.
what we did with your aircraft carrier.
Exactly.
Yes.
Unlimited occasions.
So, Dave, do you remember any stories with Scott or myself going toy hunting or anything?
Well, I remember all the calls. We'd always get the calls.
Yep.
It was cooler once we got older and could drive because then when we called in, we could go.
Yes.
We
didn't have to wait for Dad. Yes.
Yeah, and that's what I remember the most is calling. We'd get in, and then when I would come over for the week or whatever, when we'd stay during the summers, because I would stay over at your guys' house for like a week at a time. What did you guys get, or what was new, or whatever, something like that. So that was cool.
Well, let's not forget finding the Stone Cold Jack's Bone Cruncher.
Yeah. The
Bad Boy series. That was pretty. That might be our most epic hunt that we've ever had because that figure, everybody wanted that figure.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Well, that was the best part is Dave was standing guard. Because Dave, what, you're 6'5", 6'4"?
6'4".
You're 6'4", and you're standing guard around Scott and I just picking this clean. So, like, you're our bodyguard, You're like our Kevin Costner.
He was like Batman holding a cape over us while we, picked figures out of a case.
Yeah, because that was the time, is that when we would go to Toys R Us and we saw, like, a giant pallet at the end, shrink wrapped, and we, bolted, right?
Yeah, they had several pallets up and down the aisles, yeah.
So I remember your mom and dad would drop you off over at mom and dad's house.
Allegedly.
That actually happened.
No, that actually happened.
I was there. I saw it. It actually happened.
So you and Scott would start hanging out, and then Scott would forget to call Barbara. Scott would come out and go, hey, dude, did you call Barbara? And I'm like, no, dude. And I was like, I thought you did. He's like, dude, get on the phone right now and call Barbara.
That is true. Sometimes I would delegate the calls to you.
Yes.
Have you ever thought about having Barbara on the show?
We don't know where she is.
I don't even know how to find her.
Start with that phone number.
We're going to call that phone number by the end of the show, I have a feeling.
Barbara, if you're listening, please call.
She's like, they called me an angel.
So, Ed, you collected a lot of Hot Wheel toys. Do you remember Scott and I putting a lot of them aside for you?
No, I don't.
You don't remember anything like that? No.
You used to collect starting lineups, too.
I still have them. I'm trying to get rid of them.
You're trying to get rid of them?
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
You want them?
No, I would
Exactly.
Well,
that's the problem.
See, that's the weird thing. And again, this isn't a starting lineup figure podcast, but it's one of those things like I could see it making a comeback at some point. Yes, it's been, God, when was the last starting lineup made? 2000? 2001? Something like that. Like McFarlane came in and...
02, I believe, was when they was making the bigger ones.
The taller scale ones?
Starting lineup 2.
So, okay, so 17 years they've been defunct. At some point, I think they're going to make a comeback. It might take somebody to do a starting lineup figure podcast.
But they're not fully posable.
Well, they can't use that name. We've branded it. It's ours. Don't touch it. It's 200 episodes old now. But I'm saying,
Fully
maybe...
stiff starting lineups.
Say that again.
Fully stiff starting lineups.
Will you stop? So maybe somebody needs to do a podcast about starting lineups. And Ed, you actually used to work at a store that sold them, correct?
No.
The Lineup Exchange?
No,
you didn't work there?
No, that wasn't me, Scott.
No, he just spent a lot of time there.
Maybe it was Barbara.
No, she didn't go from Toys R Us to... Okay, so you were there at the Lineup Exchange a lot. Because they had Hot Wheels there as well as starting lineups.
Yes.
Okay. But you did collect starting lineups. And how many do you have now, you think? Rough number.
30-ish.
30 starting lineups? That's it?
Yeah, I got rid of it.
Oh, so you have sold some?
Yes.
Okay.
How much are you getting for them?
Nothing.
That's
Pretty
right.
much giving them away at garage sales.
Basically,
It's like a stocking stuffer.
Are they mint on card?
No, not at all.
Stocking stuff.
Your kids are like, Dad, what the hell is this?
Stocking stuffer.
Don't ask me, ask Santa.
Dad, why isn't this posable?
Oh, these were created before fun.
Yeah. So I guess to the starting lineup point, that is one thing that we've always said that pretty much when wrestling figures came in, we stopped collecting everything else. And that's true to a point, but in the 90s, we were still collecting starting lineups. We were leaving those mint on card.
Correct.
Everything else we pretty much owned, but we did leave those mint on card, and then later in the 90s, we got into like Spawn and different types of things like that, the McFarlane sports guys. But we did collect starting lineups, and we would leave them mint on card. So in addition to wrestling, I would say starting lineups were probably like, if we had to rank them, like number 2.
Correct.
2 wrestling figures.
Well, the first, 4 series, we were popping those open.
Yes.
And recreate. And Sean, you and I used to recreate like events. Like we would have football players, and okay, if you roll a 2 on the dice, it's a running play.
Yes.
But you
Oh,
were
here we
opposing
go.
them.
Spreading like the plague. One word answers. Incredible.
Riveting stuff.
Yeah.
Was it still fun to play with, even though they were not fully posable?
Yeah. Like Sean said, they were created before fun.
But didn't we used to try and get the baseball players and put like first base and set them up first, second, third? Didn't we?
Yeah.
Yes.
We tried to do that, right? Try and create a whole team.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you
Exactly.
remember, they would release like 5 guys from one team or 6 guys from one team. It was like,
Well, from the Yankees, yes.
Well, and actually for the Yankees, sometimes it was more. Like 5 or 6 was kind of a low number for a team. Like when these things first came out, like I think the Mets and the Yankees had like 8 to 9 guys each.
So
like
you know
the
that
whole team.
running joke about how the Yankees would buy their world titles?
Yes,
Yeah, they also bought the toy aisle as well.
they're the Yankees. They have money.
Yes.
They can do that. Hello, Garrett Cole.
I hope he goes to the Padres. Sorry, side note. I hope he goes to the Padres. Or like the Angels or something. And every Yankee fan just cries into their World Series rings.
Yeah, all 27 of them. We will.
It's pretty hard to wipe away tears with all the gold on their hands.
Right.
I know.
It hurts.
That's why they pay someone
It's
else to
quite
do it.
painful. Exactly.
Sneezing $100 bills.
Yes, exactly. But this is not a baseball podcast yet.
it's turning into one, I'll tell you.
Yeah, starting lineup / baseball.
And do you remember collecting a lot of the wrestling figures?
I do.
Like, were there ever some that you... I've had a guest like you before where I'm trying to just reach and pull stuff out of, you know?
In terms of a courtroom, Ed would be considered a hostile witness at this point.
Ed, do you remember, was there ever any figures that you were on the hunt for, like super ones, super rare ones, and you'd be going to Toys R Us like after work or anything?
Actually, yes, Jeff, there was.
Oh, Jesus.
Who would have known Ed's getting the most laughs out of this podcast? Show of hands, nobody.
Done with you.
No more questions to that side of the
So
table.
no, I was actually looking for the big box man.
Hasbro?
I don't care.
You did have the classic Superstars, Big
I
Boss
do.
Man.
I still have it.
Is it on a little thumbtack next to your bed?
No,
Where do you have it hanging now?
my closet.
Oh, so it's not even hanging up on your wall.
No, it's not even. It's in a box somewhere.
Okay. Because at your old house in Concord, didn't you have it put up on the wall? Like when you'd first walk in the door, it was like up on the left-hand side when you first walked into the house?
It was.
Yeah, it was on a thumbtack. You had it prominently displayed.
It could have been a nail, but yes.
Okay, yes. Incredible.
Best guest ever.
Oh, I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
I'm going to call over the local listeners and have them so that their names are going to be Sean, Ed, and Dave. No, I'm just kidding. Sean,
Yeah.
how you doing over there, man?
I actually have a funny story. I remember when I first started collecting wrestling figures. This is actually wrestling figure related, so it's going to help.
Perfect.
Yeah. I was collecting G.I. Joes, He-Man, Transformers,
That was another good one.
probably a bunch of other stuff. So I wanted to get into the Hasbro figures. Because I never liked the LJNs. I know. Blasphemy. I get it.
Well, okay, well, no, let's talk about that. So you didn't like LJN, so you didn't buy any of them. You
Yes.
didn't even have the Hogan.
I had none.
0 LJNs.
To this day, I still have none.
You were a wrestling fan.
Yes.
No LJNs.
Yes. I was a wrestling fan. My favorite wrestler at the time was Coco Beware, so take that for what it's
You
worth.
were a kid.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Why I got a bird.
Really?
Because of Coco
Because
Beware?
of Coco Beware.
Did you name it Frankie?
No, But my first bird was named Coco.
Ah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. There you go.
Ooh, look at Ed.
And that's why I got a blue and gold macaw now.
Ah, okay. There it is.
Is that named Frankie?
No.
The wrestling figure starting lineup parrot podcast.
Macaw, technically.
Macaw.
Yeah.
But it all revolves on Barbara.
You guys need to do just once, like, a Thank You Barbara podcast, where it's just...
I think over the course of 200 episodes,
Yeah.
we could probably piece enough bits about Barbara to make one full episode.
Probably.
With as much as we've talked about her.
Yeah.
Between her and John at Castro Village Toy Shop,
Yes.
who was a saint. So we have Saint John
Yeah.
and Angel Barbara.
You actually visited St. John quite a bit
Yes.
for starting lineups.
Yes. And for other toys.
Hot Wheels, too.
And Hot Wheels.
And Hot Wheels.
Well, actually, hold on. We should probably get back to Sean's, because we kind
Yes,
of
please do.
cut him
Please
off.
do.
He was getting into Hasbro's because he
yeah.
didn't like LJNs.
So, my parents, like your guys' parents, they were my backers, my bankers.
Yes. Your benefactors.
Yes, my benefactors. Actually, funny side note, I remember one time I had done really well in school or something for my parents, and my treat was always we'd go to a toy store and I could get whatever I wanted.
Whatever.
Yes. And it was within reason. Like if it was like a $50 vehicle at the time, they would probably not get it for me.
So you couldn't be like, I want the aircraft carrier.
I did have the aircraft carrier.
You also had the aircraft
I also
carrier.
had the aircraft carrier.
You did?
It is in my mom's attic right now.
Ed,
Well-
did you ever have the aircraft carrier?
The G.I. Joe aircraft carrier?
Yes.
I did.
What? Wait, what? Are you serious?
Yes, Jeff. And
No.
Scott.
Okay, that's it. We need hats with our names on the top. Like, this is ridiculous. Where's Bill?
Wait
Make
a
the
second.
hats.
Wait, whoa. You had the aircraft carrier?
Yes.
So
Okay,
over
Sean, back to
half
you.
of the people at this table had the aircraft carrier.
Except
Yes.
us.
Correct.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to slip into a depression. Excuse
Okay.
me.
All right.
So,
Make hats
So
with
I
names
had
on.
I had done something good, and I was getting a treat. And my mom made a big deal out of it. She's like, "We're going to take you to Toys R Us. You can get whatever you want." And I was also collecting Star Wars figures at the time, so we walked up and down the aisles, and they didn't have a single thing I wanted. So my 7-year-old self was like, "Okay, we can go now." And the look in my mom's face was like, "But you have to buy something." And I'm like, "That's nothing I want. Everything that is here, I already have that I want." Yeah, so we left with no toy.
Did that roll over to your next report card? Maybe. to where you could get, like,
I ended
two?
I ended up getting stuff, but my
Okay.
mom will still tell me that story that she was more heartbroken than I was that I
Wow.
didn't leave with a toy.
Wow.
wait, how does the aircraft carrier...
It doesn't work into this at all.
Oh,
Okay, so anyway, back to the story I was telling originally.
Yes.
Maybe if you called ahead to Barbara, she would have helped you out.
I don't know if Barbara was working that day.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Scott, Jeff, was Barbara working that day?
Most likely.
more than likely, yes.
Yeah,
I believe
every time
it-
I called, she was out.
I
You know
believe
what?
it was a Tuesday.
We actually had her scheduled out, too.
I think we did.
Yeah.
I think we did. I don't think she worked weekends. I think she was like Monday to Friday.
I thought it was Tuesday to... Oh, wait, maybe you're right.
Yeah, because I don't really remember going in on the weekends too often. And if
No.
we did, she wasn't there.
She wasn't there.
Because when we found that SD Jones after Mom got into the car accident...
This really has become the Barbara podcast.
Barbara, it is. There you go. Your wish is granted.
Have
She
you
was
driven
not.
by the store to see if she's still there?
Standing out front waiting for it to reopen.
You know she's working for Halloween Spirit now, right?
She just has an aisle of toys set aside for you guys.
Yeah.
So, wait,
Been
Except
waiting
the
for 30
aircraft
years for
carrier.
them to come
just
in.
out of curiosity, how old was Barbara at this time, roughly?
So, actually, I went to Toys R Us, I would say around... Gosh.
It was when you found the Rock
Late-
and Roll Express.
Yeah, that would have been... 08. That would have been 2008.
If you tell me she was like 60 at the time, we need
Yes.
a moment of silence.
Yes, no, she was still there. She was still there.
Yeah, but how old was she? Like,
Oh, dude, she had gray hair.
okay, I
So
have
do you.
gray hair. That doesn't mean anything.
When I started visiting Barbara...
Should we
she
have a
did
moment
not
of silence is my question?
Well, it's very possible. And if I knew the answer, I would say absolutely.
Okay.
But, I mean, look, it is possible. I would say when we were going to Toys R Us, she was in her 30s. Like when we first... And that would have been like 86. 85, 86, somewhere in there.
Okay, so there's a chance she's still alive.
Yes. The last time I saw her was around 08, and she had gray hair. And I wanted to go up and be like, hey, do you remember me? And but that would have been incredibly awkward and weird.
Well, for you.
Like, oh, you're the annoying
Yes.
one that called me all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then she
guarantee,
slaps me in
yeah.
the mouth like, now I can hit you. Like, yeah.
She didn't forget you. I
But
guarantee.
you
Just
think she
Googled
spotted me,
Barbara
like-
and she's not there.
Thank you, Ed. You're contributing so much to the show.
Okay, all right. So I didn't like the LJNs.
Yes, we've established
yes.
it. Was it Ted Arcidi? Is that who did it?
He could have been my favorite. I mean, it's really low bar.
Okay. You do have oddball favorites sometimes.
I do.
Just saying.
So I decided I loved the Hasbros. The little action thing that they had, I absolutely loved it.
And the shiny.
Yes,
shiny
yeah,
plastic,
and the cartoony musculature and like
Yes.
all it just hits all my buttons.
Yep. Let me fart it again, dude. I think it's your cat.
No, I shouldn't have gotten the pizza. I should have just had salads here.
So this is Jeff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you admitting
No,
to
it's
this?
not me. No, it's not me. No,
We are near a body of water, so it could be low tide. We'll go with that.
Okay. So I remember watching WWF Superstars or whatever it was on Saturdays and telling my mom and my dad that I wanted to start collecting wrestling figures. And I remember them looking at each other and then looking at me and saying, "We'll get you one or two and see if you still like it." So we head down there. I get the ring, and I believe I got the original Jake the Snake.
Okay.
In Series 1 and Macho Man, which is now in our office at work.
Yes.
The original,
and
the one you bought originally. Okay.
And still in pristine condition.
Yes.
Yeah.
No paint wear, no nothing.
And did you even play with it?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Wow.
Yeah. It was enough that it continued. I think He-Man started to die off for me at that point.
Yes.
And
because that was around 90.
And Transformers started to go in weird directions, so
Yes.
I kind of fell out of that.
G.I. Joe was kind of dipping. Mask wasn't around anymore.
I stayed with G.I. Joe even through that weird Eco-Warrior phase they had.
You did?
Yeah, Dave remembers that. Yeah.
Horrible.
Wow, so you had like the Ninja G.I. Joes,
I had
the Street
Ninjas.
Fighters.
Yep, I had the Street Fighters. I had the ones where
The Mortal Kombats.
where you'd put water and they'd spray each other and change colors.
Oh, wow.
They're all like neon colored. Like those are bad.
Awful.
Yeah. Yo, I rode that train till its bitter end.
Wow.
Yeah.
You took it to the last stop.
Yes, I did.
Kudos to you, man.
Yeah.
That's a rough ride.
It was. It really was.
So you start off with the ring.
Yes.
Let me just say that's incredible.
Yeah.
That a parent like just goes all out, and it's not just like, hey, we'll get you two figures. They recognized you had to have a platform to properly play with these two figures.
Right, but that ring was a piece of crap because the middle, where all of the action would take place, would crack and fall in because there was no support underneath. Sorry, I call it like it is.
Wow.
Wait, you did not like the Hasbro ring?
I like the way it looked, but if you actually used it...
Dude,
see,
we used
never...
it a ton.
Yeah,
mine, I actually had a crack in the middle, like a 4-way crack where it had broken.
Granted, we did have two of them, though. We did have two Hasbro rings.
Did you have the King of the Ring?
No, I had
ring?
the blue one.
Yeah, the blue one. Dave, when did you stop collecting Hasbros?
I don't have any Hasbros. I never got Hasbros.
So you stopped at LJN.
Yeah.
Well,
that's because I was over at your guys' house a lot, and I pretty much was like, was playing or looking at yours, and I never got them, which sucks because there are some I wish I would have gotten, and that's why when they just came out with them again, I was pretty stoked. But out here in good old California, we were like, oh yeah, Series 1, we got them all. Series 2, yeah, and then it was like, oh.
I'm still waiting for Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
I've never... I take that back. My wife saw it once in a Kmart that was closing, and someone had stolen the base that it stood on.
Dude, I never saw that series. What is it, the one with the Macho and the New Day? That's like 3?
Oh, New Day.
That's 5.
New Day or Hot Garbage. You didn't miss anything.
No, but we never saw it. Like,
yeah, no, you're right.
There was
You're right.
out here what we went with like 4 series. We didn't see them, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, they're back.
We missed 5, 6, and 7, or no? We saw 7. That was the one with Sheamus.
Is that because 7, 8, 9?
Oh my god, dad joke.
He is a dad.
That's true. That is true.
Applause. That's a good joke. I like that joke.
But yeah, we didn't get any of those out here. We saw like a couple from Series 4. I think, Sean, you saw Finn and like Kevin Owens.
Oh yeah,
or
Finn with the black arms for no reason.
Yeah,
the horrible Finn.
Yeah, I found that Finn.
Yeah.
The only one from that series I didn't see was Ric Flair, I believe. Was Flair in that series?
Flair was in that series.
Yeah, that's the only one I didn't find.
I actually found him. I was shocked.
Wow. Yeah, it was really... You had to go through online retailers to get those. And that sucks. Because for guys like us, guys like our age that loved the Hasbro so much, that was like a renaissance. That was nostalgia. That was all the good feels of your childhood coming back, and we were so excited. But then they didn't have good distribution on them. They just were not a good retail seller.
Nah.
Well, I remember the KB, they'd have the Hasbros, and I still never got them when they were like...
3 for $10?
Oh, yeah, they'd have like 3 for $10.
Yeah.
They said they had it in that little wire crate, and it was like, I just never got them.
But you picked up at Jack's. You started collecting Jacks.
But I would only get the guys that I would like. Like, I needed to like the wrestler to get it. I wasn't like, oh, I got to have, like you guys. I need all Series 1, Series 2. I got them all. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't
like
that
someone
guy.
over here.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Huh?
Yeah, we were definitely completionists. That really kicked in Hasbro.
Well, yes.
Did you tell the story of? God, I'm drawing a blank. Who's the guy, the face paint guys that?
Legion of Doom?
No.
Demolition?
No. This was recently. They had that like
ICP?
Illuminati kind of gimmick.
Sting.
Oh, the Ascension?
Yeah, the Ascension. Thank you. Yeah. Did you ever tell that Ascension story?
Basically where I was going to go buy the Ascension just to get their autographs over at Access and pay
Way above market.
$35 for the Ascension figures.
Even though you don't like the Ascension?
Well, I did tell this story.
Yes, you
because
did.
Scott was reaming me because he's like, you didn't do that? And I was like, no.
You should have. Because a fellow autograph collector, like, I get it. Guys are sitting there. There's
But
nobody.
you don't like them.
So, that's still 2 more autographs up on your wall.
Of guys you don't like.
It's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
See, I understand
I'm with
that.
you, Sean.
Okay.
Look,
all
I
right.
don't like the dude. I'm not paying like $40 or something.
Well, no,
to
this
get
was
his
at Access, so
autograph.
technically the autograph was free. You just had to buy the figures.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but the figures were $50,
Maybe,
right?
maybe
For
the
two-
No.
autograph was $50 with a free figure.
I like that better, actually. That makes more sense.
No, the Ascension, I want to say it was either $25 or $30.
For the 2-pack?
Well, no, they were individuals.
Yeah, so they
Individual
were...
elites.
Yeah.
So they were like 25 a piece?
Yeah, so I would have had
So,
to pay.
yeah, $50.
Yeah, to get the Ascension's Elite.
To get their free autographs.
To get their free autographs, yeah.
Did they have a long line to get the autographs?
There was no
No,
one in line because
there was-
no one liked Ascension.
Well, that's the thing is, that's
Still
what got
true.
that's what got my head spinning was like, oh, there is no line. I could go get them in the superstore, run back and jump in their line and still get their autographs. And that was the way I was thinking. Then I was like, I don't need that. I really don't. I'm gonna go get lunch with. I'm gonna go get dinner with Christy Petrillo from FTC, and that's what I did.
But you could have 2 Ascension figures hanging up on your wall right now. Or more
like-
realistically,
yeah.
in a suitcase.
Yeah, more realistically,
Waiting to be.
in a tote in the shed.
Hey.
Next to Dave's LJNs.
They're all in the same spot.
Yeah.
You still think that story is just so funny, dude, that I was gonna go get those Elite signed.
It's not funny. It makes my head hurt.
Well, don't think about it.
From somebody...
Just stop
Well,
thinking about it.
yeah.
It's very simple.
From someone that, tries to not buy things that I don't need or like anymore, that it just boggles my mind that you would go spend $50.
But he does buy almond milk.
Yes, he does buy almond milk.
Which is
yes.
also known as what, Ed?
Nut juice.
Yes. Thank you. Off the rails again.
Is that the point where it fell off the rails again?
Oh, it's been numerous times during the show.
I think it started at 30 seconds in.
Hey, this is a special episode.
It is very special.
It is a special episode.
Thank you, Barbara.
200?
No, it's $199.
Oh,
Oh, wait. Why are you guys all here then?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Welcome to the
Apparently,
Starting
all of
Lineup
us are here.
podcast.
So one of us can fart, and then everyone else can guess.
Okay. Yeah, we're trying
That's
to...
been the game tonight. It's
And
been
it's
like
weird
3
that everyone's
times.
denying it.
Ed, you are the good at escape rooms, so...
I haven't escaped yet.
Oh.
I did tell Jeff about that if you had a superpower, escape rooms would be it. You are very good at escape rooms. You're like the Rain Man of escape rooms.
Yes.
Incredible.
So, Dave, when did you stop collecting jacks?
Was it when Jack stopped?
'Cause that's when a lot of people stop collecting jacks.
That's usually when that happens, yeah.
But
I don't think I ever really got that many though. Like I wasn't.
you bought the Stone Cold.
Yeah,
As
I
we
got
told
one
that
Stone
story.
Cold.
You got like
I wish I would have got
HBK,
the LOD. I didn't get that, which I should
the
have.
Bone
but-
Cruncher LOD. The 2-pack that was the
Yes.
blue with
Yeah, see, I didn't get that many. I kind of was getting them for you guys. Like, oh, I saw, and we do the whole hiding behind, at Dublin Toys R Us.
Yeah.
We do the it's behind the. We did the board games a lot.
Yes,
In the
exactly. That's what we
very-
talked about. Yeah,
The very left, corner, way down, because nobody went back there.
yeah. It's behind Twister.
Yeah, that's where we would hide them. But other than that, well, do you guys remember when they first came out with the underneath, or where they would store stuff at Toys R Us, and the bottom? The
I
bottom
remember
shelf?
that being up top.
Yeah, I
Where
remember
They
that.
had them both,
They have
but
the
they
facade,
had
yeah.
that facade you could put up. You could put figures up there
Yep.
before people started, and the bottom shelf you could actually flip up and stick them underneath there too.
Yep.
But then people started getting wise to that. So
Yeah, they'd steal your stash.
yeah,
Is that where Barbara hid all your figures for you?
No, because she worked there, she'd hide them in the back, and then she'd see me coming, and then go in the back, pull them out. Here you go. She was awesome, Miss Barbara. Hope she's doing okay.
R.I.P. Barbara.
We don't know that.
Barbara, if you're listening, please call.
Sean,
We're very worried about you, Barbara.
Sean, do you have any memories going toy spotting with us or with Dave or with Ed
or Nathan, who's not here?
I have a good Nathan story.
Okay, please try your best to limit it to the toy spotting stories and not him drinking rainwater out of a gutter at pizza joint after a hockey championship.
Do you remember when he lost his cigar after that and it looked like he wanted to cry?
Nathan.
He
Yeah,
lost
Stone
it.
Ridge,
He
yep.
went under a flower plant.
Yeah, went under a planter box and he looked like he wanted to cry. Or the fact that he was so obsessed with Sting that he'd carry around a little bat in his trench coat.
Yeah, we got kicked out of Stone Ridge because of that.
R.I.P. Nathan.
He's just working, dude.
Sorry.
He's not here because he was working, dude.
Okay, so if any of you are familiar with the movie Dirty Work, you may see where this story is going to be going.
Mm-hmm.
So it was Jeff, Nathan, and I were driving around trying to figure out something to do, and it was probably 11:30 at night. Ed just got up and walked away.
Yeah, he doesn't want to hear the story again. It's very disgusting.
So the way it was is I was driving the truck. Nathan was shotgun because Nathan always sat shotgun. And then, Jeff, you were behind him in the extended
cab, yeah.
The extended cab. It happened to be the night that they were releasing the Star Wars figures for Phantom Menace.
1997.
Yep. And so what you would do is you would line up outside, and it would be like along the end. I think it was actually along the exit.
And it was a midnight release,
It was a midnight release. So it was about 11:30 at night. So there were all of these people dressed in full Star Wars gear that they would open the doors and they would just rush in to get the crappy Phantom Menace figures.
And be yelled at, no running 85 times.
Yes. So all these people are sitting there and they're chatting with each other. This is before cell phones were a big thing. So chatting with each other, talking about Star Wars fan fiction or whatever. And so Nathan decided that he wanted me to drive by. He was going to pull his pants down, stick his ass out the window, and I was going to drive by slowly, and then we were going to drive off and have a big laugh. So it went partially according to Nathan's plan. So we drove by. He hatched this brilliant idea in his head. We drove all the way around the parking lot to come back, and we got right in front. Nathan pulls his pants down, shoves his ass out the window, and I'm honking the horn, and I put it in park. Jeff and I are laughing so hard we can't breathe. And Nathan's like, get going, go. He's trying to pull his pants up, and he can't because his ass is out the window.
So Sean's driving, Nathan's sitting passenger seat. Nathan is staring right at Sean, and he's like, dude, what are you doing? And he's freaking out. He's like, go. Everybody in line is laughing. So finally, after a while, Sean throws it into drive. Sean doesn't peel out. He takes his foot off the brake and idles down. And he's like, so Nathan goes, dude, you gotta step on it. So finally, Sean gets it up to about, not 88 miles an hour, but like 10 miles an hour.
Went back to 1985.
Right.
Barbara.
Was Barbara at the store that day?
Who knows?
Probably.
Poor Nathan.
Poor Barbara. Are the phone lines on?
There are no phone lines.
Is it Barbara calling from the other side?
Holy shit, somebody's talking about me?
Sorry, Gail. Sorry, Keith.
You're not editing any of that out, right?
I'm editing it all.
He asked if the phone lines are live. That was incredible. Yeah, we've got Shawn Michaels running the switchboard. Tapping on his laptop.
Before we go for any further into this show,
This isn't your guys' first episode, right? Like, you know how to
it
do
feels
this.
like it.
It feels like number one.
Yes.
Yeah, this actually feels like the pilot.
It feels more like a number 2.
Sounds like one too. Yeah. Sean, I wanted to go back to you actually, now that I'm thinking about it. How frustrated were you when you went to the San Jose Toy Show with us just recently?
Very.
It's contagious.
I'm re-recording this whole... We're recording Wednesday night, dude. This thing's...
This will be a special episode. This may hit at 300.
There's actually a special interview that I have that I've never released because it was not the best at all.
Was it done with a prostitute?
Jeff couldn't even say the word.
It's a
Who
woman
was
of
it,
the
who was
night.
it done with?
I was done with...
I know you're cutting this
Well,
out because you're
we
not.
can't say.
Well,
Yes.
no, you're cutting this part out.
Was it Barbara?
No, he's not cutting. It was not Barbara.
Oh, no, he's cutting this part out.
No, he's not.
Jeff, are you cutting this part out?
There's a lot that I'm cutting out.
So who is the interview with? Okay.
All right.
Well, I would like to make a motion, and
Bet you would.
I know it's pretty fun. Since I know all the listeners love hearing about energy drinks,
Yes.
as I sit here, I remember that I believe all of us tried our first energy drink at the same time, and we were all in the same place.
We were?
Yes.
Why do I not remember
I don't remember this either.
Red Dogs.
Yes.
Yes.
Recall anything?
We all played on
Yeah.
that hockey team. Yeah.
Yes. And then remember they came in with Red Bulls. And they
Yes.
gave us all Red Bulls. We'd never heard of an energy drink, right?
You're
We
right.
were-
We were all on the same team, and that
That's
girl
right.
came in, and she's like, "Oh, you guys want to try an energy drink?" And we're like, "What's an energy drink?"
And get out of our locker room, you
yeah,
weirdo.
get out of our locker room. But she gave us all the standard Red Bull, and I think all of us took about 2 sips, and we're like, "This tastes like battery acid."
Yes.
And then I think Ed, you were actually the only one that drank all of it. And after the
That
game,
does sound about right.
we were like, Ed, what do you feel? And you're like, I don't feel anything. So we're like, these are stupid.
But he
These
did
are
score
stupid.
73 goals. It was incredible.
I do have to say they taste much better with Jaeger.
Yes.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Now you're talking my language.
Yeah,
yes.
they do.
Squat suddenly emerged from his shell, and
Yeah.
now he wants to talk Jaeger with you. So,
Red
Yes.
Bull, if you're listening to this podcast, please call in. The lines are on.
we should drink Jaeger sometime.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah?
I thought you gave that up.
I haven't had anything. Well, I've had one shot in 2 years, 3 years.
That's actually really good that you don't.
The only time I drink now is at the fantasy baseball draft.
And you have one.
I have one.
I'm going to bring Jaeger.
Oh, I'm down.
In March, I will bring Jaeger.
Yeah.
And we'll at least do one.
Well,
I could bring you a cup of nut juice right now, if you'd like.
So is
as tempting as that is, I think I'll pass.
He squeezes it himself.
so is anybody still
Fresh.
aside from Scott and I, is anybody still drinking energy drinks?
I do.
I never really did.
No, Jeff, I don't.
Dave,
You
what-
used to, though, Ed.
Oh, I used to drink those like they're going out of style.
Yes, but you had to stop.
I did stop.
Wait.
I didn't have to stop. I wanted to stop.
Oh, you wanted to. Good
I
for
wanted
you.
to.
Fluttery heart and stuff, or
Heart attack.
you had a heart attack?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it sucked.
glad you survived.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Otherwise, we'd be
Pretty
sitting
nice.
here going, R.I.P. Ed.
I'd be
That'd
talking.
be a
I'd
horrible
be talking to
one.
Barbara.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
Ed would be calling in on the Barbara line.
Exactly. Do we have a call yet?
No, this isn't live.
Oh.
Thank God.
It's kind of live.
Dave, what energy drinks are you drinking?
I rep the Monster. The Peach Tea Rehab is probably the greatest there is, in my opinion. And I also like the Monster, all the ultralights, or the ultras, whatever they call them, the white can, the purple can.
Okay.
Those are all awesome. But they like don't get me all ramped up. It's just like maintained, so I don't get all wired and crash or anything. They just kind of maintain. The one that used to get me was the Full Throttle Agave, the blue can. Oh, dude.
That's a good one.
Well, they don't make it anymore.
Oh,
But, like
well, there you
I
go.
had that, and I would want to run around like the building like 35 times because it was just so. It was like whoa,
And chop it down with the edge of your hand.
Yeah. Oh my god.
So Jeff wanted me to try Redline forever.
Oh Jesus.
So he brings in Redline and he's like, you have to try it. I'm like, okay.
It's like C4 for your heart, correct?
Right, yes. Do you remember how much I drank?
So the thing is they said you only have to drink half to get the full effect.
Yes.
So you drank half.
Yeah, I did drink half. And I remember sitting there thinking it wasn't working. Yet my leg wouldn't stop shaking. My hand wouldn't stop shaking. I was on the phone to my boss at the time. I'm like, it's not kicking in. I can't feel anything. I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
You were like Peter Griffin, dude.
And I don't drink energy drinks at all.
No.
Coffee? Nothing?
Nothing.
Wow.
I even gave up a soda. Well,
Good for you.
Caffeinated soda.
Good for you.
How's it working out?
I have a really bad headache and I'm tired.
We need to get you back on that caffeine train.
No.
Beautiful. Scott, are you still drinking bangs, obviously?
I walked in with one. Cherry
You
Blade
did.
Lemonade.
That's right.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. Got me through, or getting me through the show. No thanks to Ed.
No thanks to Ed.
No thanks to Ed.
Why not?
Super thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Present.
Dave, is there any Toy Spotting stories that you have that you were by yourself and you were out going to Toys R Us or anything like that?
Well, I used to do that almost daily, being at DVC, which is the junior college in our area. It was like right down the street from Toys R Us, Target, the mall, and I would regularly leave and go because we all had we knew Toys R Us opened at 10.
Yep.
The mall 10,
Yep.
Target 8. Well, I don't know. Back then, I don't even know if it was 8.
I don't remember when Target opened back in the day.
But it was like totally like be there when they open. The old men that would go get the Hot Wheels.
Yep.
No offense to this Hot Wheel collector, but most of the time it was the
Not
old
guys
guys
of
like
age,
knocking each other over trying to get Hot Wheels. And I was
Yes.
like, what?
Yep.
Men like cars.
Yes.
Well, people used to do that over starting lineups.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was one time, I don't know if you were with us or if Nick was, and we went to Toys R Us, and they said earlier, just about an hour before, there was a huge fight over the Shaquille O'Neal rookie figure starting lineup.
That's right. In a Toys R Us.
In a Toys R Us, there was
Grown
a huge,
men.
Yeah, 2 grown men just got into a fist fight over the Shaquille O'Neal figure.
Was Barbara present?
Barbara was not present because that was Dublin Toys R Us. She was Hayward.
So, speaking of horrible things happening in a toy aisle, Ed, I think you have a story to tell us?
I do. So here we are, playing hockey one night. After hockey, we go to Taco Bell. Jeff, our goalie,
That's me.
that's Jeff over there, manning the phone lines, orders his typical food. And the next day, we are at Payless drugstore looking for figures. I smell something. I say, "Oh, geez, Jeff," very nicely. And Jeff, what did you say after that?
I'm not finished.
So Jeff crop dusted the whole aisle.
Wait. You're not finished, as in it's still seeping out.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was bad. We had Taco Bell the night before, and I even went around to another aisle.
He did go to the next aisle to save us.
So you were wide open, full throttle, just wandering around the aisles.
Right,
like,
trying to let you know.
Oh, dude.
So Ed and I then went to the next aisle thinking there was something there.
Oh, no.
We didn't want what was there.
No, you don't want any part of that.
So we left, and Jeff continues to crop dust down the aisle. As we leave the aisle, some kid and his dad go walking down that aisle.
Oh, no. Did they say anything?
I believe I heard somebody say something as we were walking away.
Dad
Yes.
blaming son.
No, it was more like, oh God, what is that?
What died in this aisle?
Yes.
One of my other favorite stories is
We didn't buy any figures that day.
we did not. No, in
They
fact,
were all
you,
tainted.
They were
no,
all
in fact,
tainted.
you guys were like, "Let's go. We need to get out of here."
We need to
But the
leave.
last thing we want to do is be in an enclosed car with you, Jeff.
No, you guys kept the windows down as we're driving down 580, about to hit 238. You guys are like, "The windows are staying down." I'm like, "I understand."
Like, you're going to pull a Nathan, you're going to hang your rear end out the window, you're going
Yeah.
to drive down the freeway, you're going to crop dust Hayward.
One of my other,
Honestly, we were worried about anal leakage.
That would be a concern.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
one of my other favorite stories is, I don't know if you guys remember, but Nathan and I, when we would go into Toys R Us, him and I would kind of jostle.
Oh, this is the one with that kid, is it? The story about that kid?
No, I'm not going into that one.
But you will after this story, so proceed.
Go ahead.
So Nathan and I go into a Target. I want to say it was Dublin Target, where the one that was next to Toys R Us. So we're going into the Target. The women's clothes are to the left. Nathan shoves me. I almost hit the little centerpiece aisle. I shove Nathan. He falls because Nathan has no balance. His like equilibrium's gone. He falls into the women's racks.
R.I.P. Nathan.
No, he's not dead. And he almost brings down the women's rack. And all the people working are like, these two a-holes. Like, they're staring at us like, are they really doing this right before we close and we have to clean up?
Jeff, why did that light just come on?
Because it's on an automatic timer.
It was
Why is it on
Barbara.
for-
It's Barbara Spirit.
Hello, Barbara. No, is there any figures that you guys purchased that you regret buying?
Yeah, probably everything.
Quite a few.
Yeah, there are quite a few. I almost bought Ascension figures. I was almost...
Doubling back to that story.
Yeah.
Oh, are you talking about like right away you regret buying them?
Yes.
No, not really. Like, there are some I sit there and I go, why did I buy this? But, it's okay. But there's nothing ever I'm like, what did I do this for? Nothing like that for me.
Well, especially when you're on a budget. Like, you don't really go out and just willy-nilly buy figures. Like, I kind of have like a strict budget for my wrestling figures, so I don't just like buy randoms and then later on regret it. Like, I have to want it to buy it. So I can't recall any like super big regrets.
Do you have one?
No.
Dave?
I don't, because I only buy figures that I want.
Yeah, Dave and I are totally in the same boat. Sean too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, you don't collect that much anymore. Because you were
not definitely not as much as I used to.
Because you were super into Legos.
Yeah, I still do collect some Legos.
Some Legos.
Did you build them or keep them in boxes?
I went through and built them all, and then my daughter played with them, and now they're all broken and missing pieces, so if I really like the sets, I don't build them.
Did you leave them in the box?
Yep.
Dave, any Funkos that you regret?
No.
The first one?
Yeah, exactly. Great point. Yeah, that's when the slippery slope
Yeah,
starts.
the first, yeah. Because I was telling Jeff earlier, if you only have two of something, you just have two of something. right? You just have a pair. But as soon as you have 3, it's technically a collection.
That's it.
So I have a collection of balls.
Yes.
Ed, are there any matchboxes that you have that are worth just like hundreds and hundreds of dollars or anything like that?
Nope.
Nothing?
Nothing.
What about Hot Wheels?
Nothing. The internet kind of killed the market on everything.
Really? So Hot Wheels aren't valuable anymore?
Not at all.
I'm going to be totally honest. I have not followed Hot Wheels in a
Same
long
as
time.
starting lineups.
No
Now,
value, huh?
Now, do
No
you
value.
remember Scott and I hiding stuff for you, and then after you would get done at Long's, you would drive over to Hayward Toys R Us and pick them up?
I think so. I probably talked to Barbara there.
You probably did, yes. But do you remember where we used to hide them?
I do not.
We used to hide them in the girls section. At least I would hide them in the girls section for you, and I'd be like, "Hey, it's over by Barbie on aisle 2."
Well, until they hit Ed with that restraining order, then we couldn't hide his toys over there.
I had to stay
anymore.
30 feet from that.
Exactly. Exactly. Then we went to the board games.
That's right. That's right.
So when you collected Hot Wheels, was it specific ones, like the rare ones, or just stuff you liked?
Treasure hunts?
It was mainly the treasure hunts when they were easy to find. That was it.
So what were the treasure hunt ones? I never got into Hot Wheels at all.
They were just the rare ones with little pictures of treasure chests on them.
Like
Okay.
on the card, not on the card
on the card.
itself, on the card. Yeah.
But now it's hidden in the car, and you got to look for certain things, and it's just a waste of time.
Wow. That's dedication.
So none of them kept value or anything?
No.
What are they going for?
Pocket change.
Same as starting lineups, huh?
Mhm. Probably
Yeah.
less than face value.
Starting lineups, I've noticed that they're $10.
Yeah.
Mint on card now.
Yep.
You can still get them on Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. And you can get them for like $10-15.
Yeah.
Because I remember Sean and I were looking at him, and he was looking at it for Bagwell. And I was like, oh, it's going to probably be like $30-40. It was like $12.99
Yeah,
with
with
free
free shipping.
Free shipping
Yeah.
on Prime, you know?
I actually just got a Bagwell starting lineup from like 87 or 88 for $2.
Oh
Was-
my gosh.
Yeah.
There really is no market for those
No,
things.
no.
That
Wait.
sucks.
Wait, loose?
No, on card. It
Oh.
wasn't mint, but the card was damaged, but it was still $2.
Was it the one where he's got the elbow up and the
No, it was end of the swing.
end of the swing? Famous McGuire and Canseco pose, too.
I wish Nathan was here because we could talk to him about all those drives I used to make in that little Mitsubishi Mighty Max truck I had. There was
Oh.
just the bench seat in the front. You could fit 3 people, but somebody had to sit with legs on either side of the stick shift,
Yep.
and that was really uncomfortable.
Yes. Especially for Nathan, who's 6'1". Or at that time, he was about 5'10", 5'11".
And you idiots are yelling shotgun before we've even planned where we're going to go yet. And then the stories begin as we discussed, Sean, about Jeff and Nathan jumping out of the vehicle and running in, shoving each other.
Yeah.
Being idiots, yes?
No, I have no recollection.
Of course you don't.
Of course I don't.
But I specifically recall summer of 96 being probably our most epic summer of toy hunting ever. Because we went everywhere. As soon as Nathan would get off of work, we would jump in my truck and we would go to Hayward, we'd go to Dublin, we'd go to Fremont, we'd go to Livermore, we'd go all over the map. And mostly we were hunting starting lineups.
That seems more of only the Bay Area, but not the map.
Okay, the map of the Bay Area.
Captain Literal.
Yes. Thank you, Ed. We gonna call yet?
R.I.P. Barbara.
But that was just like some of my most fun memories with you guys. Like, was driving around playing Metallica Load on the tape deck. At least it wasn't Saint Anger yet.
Sorry, Dave. I know you're a huge Metallica fan.
He's not a Saint Anger fan, I bet.
Put down that middle finger.
Yeah.
I just have an itch. I just have an itch.
But driving around with you guys, going toy spotting and collecting starting lineup figures, and I think it was Jack's Bone Crunchers at the time, but that was just a lot of fun driving around with you guys and playing music and toy hunting and showing all the bags in the back of the truck. Just a blast.
And then Nathan said Bleeding Me was the greatest Metallica song ever.
Nathan said a lot of things.
He liked to
Nathan, if you're
talk.
listening, please call in.
Yeah. So I actually have a couple questions
Yes.
for the group.
Yes.
Wrestling figure wise, least favorite figure line, main figure line. So none of that like.
So we're talking Remco, LJN,
Yeah.
Hasbro, like the main
Yes,
the main
yeah,
players.
but none of the like weird gimmicky like Toy Biz with the magnets in their hands.
Well,
like,
Jeff is going to say Toy Biz
right,
flat
that's,
out.
and that's fine. That's fine. But I'm also going to ask why.
Okay.
Why? So, like for example, the Jax BCAs don't hold up for me. They weird round looking heads, and they don't look like who they're supposed to look like.
Okay.
So that would be one of my probably lowest lines.
Which I think would be a fair argument.
Yeah.
When you saw what Jax was able to do after the BCAs released with
Correct.
their classic superstars.
Yeah,
and
like
their
I'm
ruthless
staring
aggression.
at some on the wall over there.
Right,
Yeah.
right. They definitely improved over time. But the Bone Crunchers, that would be a fair argument to a lot of people that weren't necessarily fans of the BCAs.
I don't have any Jax BCAs over there.
No. We're talking about the Jax, the classic superstars.
Oh, I love
They
them.
got so much better.
Oh, yeah. Well, especially after they introduced the face scan technology.
Which was hit or miss. There were some that were really bad.
Yeah.
True, but that
Like
was...
they got a stand-in for the face.
But that was still, like, revolutionary for at that time.
Right, yeah.
Didn't we first see that? Wasn't that the four of us when we went to WrestleMania 2000?
2000. Yep. They had them on display.
And they didn't have to do autographs then, right?
Yeah,
they did.
Oh, they did.
Yeah,
it just wasn't as big as
they had access.
Well,
yeah, because that's where we saw it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
Jax
I
had a
remember we
booth.
saw that huge, covered cube.
Yeah, they have
that
a
they
huge
had.
case. Yep. That's where we saw the Hardys for the first time.
And we all freaked out.
Oh,
we were
yeah.
like, what is this?
Yeah.
That was probably the figures that we all collectively spent the most time looking for.
Oh, for sure.
Was that first Hardys 2
the Hardy set?
Yeah.
Yes. When we've talked about that numerous times. In fact, the last toy show we went to, that was Jeff's birthday gift.
Right,
6
right.
months late.
Well,
was the Hardy set.
The thing was, too, is you and Sean actually went back to Disneyland. Scott and I were running around Access trying to get autographs and everything. And you and you and Sean...
We were like, yeah.
Dave
we
and
were like, autographs? We're like, I'm going to stand in the line to get a freaking autograph.
Yeah, Dave and Sean were like, we're going back to Disneyland because Disneyland's right across the way.
The Ascension's not here, I'm out.
You jerk.
So I think you guys should hold a raffle and give away one of those figures.
Which ones?
Anyone.
What?
Actually,
Just give away a signed figure to one of your fans.
Guess what's getting edited out? I will say what was funny is when Ed went back and looked at the collection room, the wrestling figure room, he's like, dude, somebody drew all over your figures.
No, those are autographs, Ed.
I wiped half of them off.
Did you get the magic erase?
No.
He also came out wearing your NWA World Tag Team title that was just recently signed by the Rock and Roll Express.
Yes.
Yes.
And you're like, OMG, please tell me you didn't rub off the signature.
Jeff about had a heart attack on that one.
Yeah.
True story.
I almost did a live to see episode 200.
You almost pooped your pants for the second time.
Sean, do not go into that story.
We can.
Well, we could. Anyways,
You did litter his car.
It's so much better when Jeff tells it.
Jeff, can you please tell the story?
I could. Okay, so anyways, WrestleMania 2000.
No, I think it was a APW show.
It was after an APW show. I'm not.
And what happened?
Oh,
He had fettuccine Alfredo.
Yep.
The last time he ever had fettuccine
Well, I
Alfredo.
believe there was shrimp on it too.
That's what you get for trusting Caro's shrimp. Just gonna throw that out there. Sometimes you need to know your seafood. Caro's is not where I would be ordering it.
Oh, okay. Anyways, back to WrestleMania 2000, please.
Well, I guess if Jeff's not going to tell it, I could tell it.
You totally could tell it.
Okay, I could tell it. Should I tell it?
Well, you know what? He holds the ultimate hand in whether or not this gets edited out. So I think you should just tell the story.
He'll cut it anyways.
Yeah, I'd probably cut it anyways.
Yeah, but then he'll still relive it.
Okay. So it was after APW.
Which, by the way, let's not overlook that.
Yeah.
Before we get into your story, you guys actually filmed for APW. Like, you were
Yeah.
part of their production crew.
We were the unpaid camera people for APW.
You were, which is incredible, and you guys actually used APW for a senior project.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I
Yes.
don't want to over...
Yes.
These mouthpieces over here. I'm telling you, you hire the best, Jeff.
Well, yeah, and we were using our own equipment. We weren't getting paid.
Right.
Okay, technically we were using the school's equipment.
No, we were using your camera. It was your
I thought
camera
we had one of the school's cameras too.
to film the project. Yes.
Oh, okay.
But
All
to
right.
continue filming for All Pro Wrestling, we were using your camera, and I can't remember who else's camera. It was either Ed.
I think it was mine.
Yeah, it was yours. That's right.
And what were some of the names that you guys came across while you were working for APW? So for year-wise, this would have been 1997, correct?
Correct.
96?
96, 97.
Yeah. And there was like Leprechaun, Aaron O'Grady, who was also Crash Holly.
Right.
Vic Grimes.
Vic Grimes, who was Mordecai. No, sorry, he's
That
not.
was not. That was
No.
Fertig.
What was his?
He was also Vic Grimes.
He was Vic Grimes.
Yeah, he was Vic Grimes.
Also
What-
known as Vic Grimes.
No, because remember he showed up in all of that white gear.
Yeah, he...
That was for a second. He was supposed to have a run, and they just scrapped it.
And then he went back to ECW and they just called him Vic Grimes.
Yes.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yep. And then New Jack tried to kill him in the ring. In
Yes.
FCW.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Michael
Accurate.
Modest, who a lot of people wouldn't recognize the name, but he was just such
He was on WCW for a hot minute, and then he had a run in Japan as well, right?
Yeah, working for
Noah
Noah.
Japan.
Yeah,
working
Noah.
for Noah. Yeah.
Him and Donovan Morgan.
Yep.
Yeah, Donovan was another one.
What was the name of that? The tag team that they always jerked to the curtain. The West Side Players.
I wouldn't say they jerked the curtains, but it was
Shooter Tony Jones, is that?
Yeah.
He was there too.
and Boyce Legrand, who, by the way, is still at All Pro Wrestling.
And Vinny Massaro.
Vinny was there.
Vinny went on to ref at other places, and I think I saw him wrestle.
He was in Lucha Underground too.
That's where I saw him.
Yeah.
He's been wrestling in the Valley lately.
Really? He's back?
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys met some people back then. And
Yeah.
you actually, and Roland Alexander.
Yes.
You guys talked to him
who was
several times.
infamous in Beyond the Mat.
True.
I'll never forget when he brought us into his office, and he goes, guys, I bought a big piece of equipment. We're going to upgrade this. And we're all excited. We're like, what? He goes, I bought a switch. We're like, oh man, so we're used to like the big switchboards.
Yes.
And he reaches into his desk, and we're like, is he getting the key to where the switch is? Like, what's going on?
Where's he
and
hiding
he
this
pulls
thing?
out this little, it looks like a candy bar, and it just had like 4 buttons on it.
Oh, wow.
And he goes, here you go. And we're like, no, seriously, where is it? he was so excited.
Oh, wow.
He thought he purchased the biggest piece of equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody might have told him that.
Probably
when
over
he bought it.
And every time you would switch from one to another, you'd have a like quarter second of static.
Oh, man.
It was
Yeah.
like a glitch.
That's what you get for shopping at Circuit City.
There you go.
So yeah,
Scott, what's Circuit City?
could you buy
It's a place you could buy VHSs and VCRs.
Think Best Buy, but it's gone the way of Toys R Us. It's now closed.
Oh, also Manny Fernandez was at APW.
Yes.
He was. Yeah.
So do you guys remember going to any shows with us? Anything that sticks out?
Well,
Like-
Sean had a two-part question.
No, I'm leaving it the other one.
No. The line that you
Yeah, we
that
could
has
get the-
I will say this: the line that has aged the worst,
The line.
the wrestling figure line that has aged the worst, in your opinion. Like, so mine would be BCA.
and you can't go gimmicky figure, like you can't pick Maximum Sweat, you can't pick the vibrating.
I mean, if that's really the only
Figures.
one you can think of, the one that bothers you the most, I liked the Maximum Sweat line.
Okay.
But I like big, muscly, cartoony. Like, I like that look. So I can see why other people didn't like it. I do think it was funny that it was supposed to be blood, and they were like, "Oh nope, no blood."
Yeah, we're just
Sorry.
gonna make 'em sweat.
Yeah, so we're gonna make them sweat. Like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, totally. I'm going to go Titantron live figures. They were too bulky for me. The
And
body parts were kind of
That
weird
was
on
like
them
the
sometimes.
R3 technology.
No, well, okay, so maybe it's a tie, actually. R3 I'm not a fan of at all.
Yeah, those didn't
R3,
look.
yeah, the bodies were very weird, whereas like the Titantron live figures were more like big and blocky. They were the ones that were meant to work with that Titantron playset.
They had the little metal piece on the bottom of the
Yes,
foot.
exactly. And a lot of times the face sculpts weren't the best on those. So I thought the R3 were better sculpts on the face, but the pieces that they used for the bodies were awful. I did not like the bodies on those.
And those
at all.
R3 were supposed to be lifelike.
More
like, They
realistic,
were supposed
yes.
to be in complete and total like size for everything.
Correct,
So they
yes.
weren't as muscular.
Right,
They were-
and
yeah.
like your Big Show figure was supposed to be totally in scale, like next to a Rey Mysterio figure.
Yeah.
And I think what they were going for is appropriate body for their new real scan technology. They were trying to pair those two up.
Yeah.
But the bodies for me were a total miss. So R3 and Titantron Live, I think those are two of my least favorite. And if I had to go gimmicky, it would definitely be those vibrating figures.
The WCW ones.
Yes, that didn't make any sense to me at all.
Dave, how about you?
I couldn't even tell you.
You couldn't?
No, I couldn't. 'Cause
So
I don't
you enjoyed
remember.
the vibrating figures?
No, because I didn't have those. I wasn't collecting, so I couldn't even.
Even the BCA figures? Ah, do you
I
still
don't
have?
remember.
Do you still have the Austin we plucked out of those cases?
Probably
Gotcha. Ed, do you,
In the shed.
in the shed.
In the shed next to the LJNs.
I think I got to go with the thumb figures.
Ooh, the thumb wrestling ones.
Which ones though?
The
Because it seemed
LJNs?
every brand had those.
More of the original ones.
Oh, the original LJNs. I could see that.
yeah, that's
I could
actually
see that.
not.
Yeah,
That's not bad.
You weren't expecting that from me, were you?
No, you blew me away with that one.
I was expecting a.
No.
We got a full answer. It was incredible.
Sorry.
Sean, are there any other lines where you just looked at them and you're like, "Oh God, this is bad"?
I liked the Toy Biz lines.
I did too.
You and I have talked about that. I liked the way they looked. They were cartoony.
You're dismissed.
Thank you.
Wow, it took that.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing is about Sean is he's always loved the cartoony looking figures. That's why Hasbro are some of your favorite figures of all time.
Yes.
Any others?
No.
I know there are some. I'm just drawing a complete and total blank. I find the mashups weird, like the Ninja Turtle WWE figures. I find those odd.
Oh, see, I love those.
What about like the Ghostbusters?
I find those odd as well.
Okay.
The thing that is really weird to me is the people that love like the Ghostbusters and the Ninja Turtles, and then hate the zombies or hate the monsters. Because
that would be us.
To me, it's basically the same thing. You're taking your figures, you're mashing it up with another license, and you're aiming it at a specific group of people that may not buy wrestling figures.
That's a valid point.
Dave, do you remember going to any... Wake up over there. Do you remember going to any wrestling shows with us? I mean, obviously you went to 12, 16 WrestleManias.
Well, we went to... What did we go see at the Coliseum on closed circuit?
WrestleMania 4.
Didn't we see 3, though?
I did not.
No.
I don't know if you went to that. Because I think...
I somehow got a copy of
you
it
had
on
3.
VHS.
Yes, you did.
3. I don't know how I got it.
That's how I saw it. I watched it at your house.
Okay, so it was 4 that we went to. I always thought it was
4
3.
we went to the Coliseum. Yep. That's when Jeff cried when Strikeforce lost.
Yes, I remember that.
Yes, again.
And I remember, I don't know, it was like one of the first house shows we went to. I remember Hogan was obviously probably the main event, and my dad afterwards saying how loud, like he'd never been anywhere where it had been that loud, where people were just freaking out over Hogan.
Yeah.
I mean, that was probably like one of the first house shows we went to at the Coliseum. They were like freaking out. My dad was like, I've never heard anything this loud before.
I remember that show, actually. I want to say it was One Man Gang or Akeem that he wrestled in the main event that night.
Yeah, I think you're right with Akeem.
Yeah, and then right after that, we went home, and Saturday Night's main event was on, and Hogan wrestled Orndorff.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, this is taped. Because we were just at the Coliseum, and Hogan had a match, and now I'm watching him wrestle Paul Orndorff in the cage. Like, that was kind of my first clue that, oh, maybe they taped these things ahead of time. So, yeah, that was kind of a tip-off for me.
I remember when we went to that show, I remember our parents went out to dinner before the show, and we were back at the house, and the show didn't start till like 7:30, and it's 4:30, and it's starting to get dark outside, and I'm like, we got to get to the Coliseum.
We got to go.
Like, it's 3 hours before. We got to get to the show right now. Why are they at dinner? And we're playing pool on that. Remember that little miniature pool table?
Yeah, the miniature pool. But what's funny is, if people obviously probably don't know, is at your guys' house in San Leandro, you're not that far from the Coliseum. I mean, it does not take that long to get there. I mean, it's like,
less
even
than 10
with
minutes.
Traffic, I mean, it's not that far.
No matter how many times Mom took us to the A's games, I still felt like the Coliseum was like far out there. The line to get into the show was going to be horrendous, and we were going to miss the first 2 matches, and I was going to be pissed.
There's not going to be any parking spots.
Yeah. And then it ended up Sam Houston lost to Danny Davis, I think.
It's quite an opener.
I know, right? Ed, do you remember going to any shows with Scott and I, or any shows with us? But outside of All Pro Wrestling?
Yes.
Sean, how about you?
Yes.
Scott.
I specifically remember...
Well, we discussed WrestleMania 2000.
Yeah,
with
but
Access.
The one the first memory that pops to my head is, I don't know, I think you were there when Mick Foley and Owen Hart wrestled, and
I was not there for that. You and Jeff went to that one.
It was just me and you.
Yeah,
and it was Mick hit Owen with one of those giant garbage bags full of popcorn.
Oh, yeah.
And he sold it like it was a chair shot.
Owen sold it.
And then I think that same night was where the main event, they just kept hitting each other in the nuts.
Oh.
Sean took like 7 nut shots, and like at the end he like hobbled off.
Oh wait, no, that wasn't, because the main event that night where the popcorn incident happened was Bret Hart versus, it's gonna drive me nuts. Who was it? It wasn't Sean. Austin was at ringside, and I can't remember who it was.
Okay, yeah, it was a different night then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was facing Shamrock.
Oh yeah.
And but the night that you're talking about with all the low blows,
yeah,
the main event was Sean against Mick Foley.
Yeah, and they just kept hitting each other in the crotch for some reason.
What in the?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff looked at me and he goes, "Are they supposed to be hitting each other in the crotch so much?"
Who started this?
How many nut shots have they given each other?
Some of the other ones I remember, we were at a Raw when Rock was taking over the Nation of Domination, and we decided we were going to be Rock fans, and so everybody was booing Rock because Rock hadn't become the anti-hero yet.
That was the Cow Palace.
No, I think it was San Jose.
Was it a house show?
No, it was Raw. I think it was San Jose.
Well, we were at the Raw where Rock turned face.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I
this is
remember
the
that.
one where Rock was heel. And he kept talking about how San Jose was full of trailer trash. And we kept screaming, "Give us hell, Rock! We deserve it!"
We suck, Rock.
And then you were with us when... pretty sure you were with us when Austin was facing... Was it Brett?
No, it wasn't. I never saw a Bret Austin match.
Are you talking about the Fresno Raw?
No.
When Mike Tyson was there?
I think it was a house show where Austin was facing somebody. Oh, Triple H.
That's right.
And we were rooting for Triple H.
Oh, I remember that.
And there were a bunch of drunk people around us.
Yes, and you almost got in a fight.
Some guy got in my face.
Yeah.
And he goes, "You want to fight?" And I go, "No, thanks, I'm a pacifist." And he had to stop to think about what that word meant. And his friend is laughing.
Well, his friend also turned around like he was ready to come after us. But Dave was sitting next.
Yeah.
Dave was on your right.
Yeah, all Dave did was cross his arms, and they were like, "Okay, cool."
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Never
So
mind.
once again, Dave was being a bodyguard.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
But the thing is the guy's girlfriend turned around and started yelling at us.
Yeah. Because we were rooting for Triple H.
Because
Yeah.
we were rooting for Triple H. Then he got involved, and then his buddy turned around, and then you made the pacifist line.
Yeah.
But Dave is already sitting kind of like, not in your lap, but he's like
Yeah,
over.
he's leaning over.
Yeah, he's leaning over. And this guy's like, ugh, and the guy backs down. Because, as I said, Dave's 6'4".
Yeah.
So, intimidating figure you are over there, man.
What can I say?
Yep.
Well, we also went to Royal Rumble 98.
Yep.
Yeah, we were all there.
Yep. We also...
That was when Tyson was
Yes.
there. That's the first time we
Yeah.
saw it because he
In
was
the luxury
and
box.
wasn't he? We were pretty close to him.
Yeah.
Weren't
yeah,
we?
he was
Like
just
we
like
just turned
the
around
section
and
up.
he was like,
Yeah, he was up in the
Like,
luxury
right
box.
I know
behind
everyone
us.
can see me pointing to the corner, but
Yes.
he
They
was
would be
like, we were
behind.
sitting
Yeah.
here, and he was like right there. It wasn't like he was across. He was like,
Yeah, he was like a section or two over
Yeah.
from where we were sitting.
That was
Yeah,
pretty-
up
that
in
was
the luxury
pretty
suite.
funny.
And I think we all went to a Nitro in Sacramento.
We
We
did.
did.
And that's where NWO was doing their, "We're not actually going to wrestle, we're just going to come out and ruin the show
And
5 times."
Talk.
Yeah.
And do 80 promos.
And
Right.
I remember specifically that ended, and we all looked at each other like, I think we saw 3 matches that night.
Yeah.
We were like,
Like,
"Oh,
we're supposed to go home now?
this is it? Okay. All right."
Yeah.
Well, that was also the night that somebody got in the ring and Macho beat the guy down. I don't know if you guys remember that one.
I do remember that.
Yep.
He just beat the living bejesus out of that guy.
Stay on your side of the railing,
I forget
pal.
the guy's name that used to work the outside. Dillinger?
I think it was Barbara.
It wasn't Barbara. wasn't not Barbara. She was
St.
working.
John.
She was working at
Was it
Twinkle.
was it Ty Dillinger?
It was not Ty Dillinger. Doug Dillinger. I think you're right, Scott.
Yeah, I think it's Doug Dillinger.
But Doug is trying to rescue this poor fan, and Macho is just laying the boots into him, like kicking him in the face.
like Tito Santana
He
laying it
snapped
down
him
on
like a
Mr.
Slim
Fuji
Jim.
at 4.
Yeah. Yes, those were some good times.
Oh yeah.
Any memories from APW?
Yes.
Sean?
I agree with Ed. Yes.
All right.
I remember this one time we went to Caro's after we filmed.
Do you guys remember the matches that Aaron O'Grady and Vic Grimes used to have?
Oh,
They
yeah.
used to have like the street fights.
Remember
Yeah.
when they got hit by a car?
Yes, I do remember when he got hit by a car.
And that was the one where Ed's brother started chasing Rizano down the street with a pitchfork?
Wow.
Bill did that?
No. Sorry.
Oh.
Ed Martin's brother.
Oh. I was
12?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
There was a lot of audience participation at those shows.
the one I'm specifically remembering was Vic was picking up, now he was Crash Holly, but Aaron O'Grady at the time, and throwing him onto people's hoods and denting the hoods.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
Well, no, he bounced.
Oh, good. Good. No permanent dents.
Yeah, no.
I remember Scott used to get in for free because he was just holding the cords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I can spot. And he'd get into the shows for free.
Now, Jeff, what was the audience area called near the gate, near the door?
Was it the War Zone?
No,
No, the war zone was on the outside where the chairs were.
no. But what was near the roll up door?
I don't remember.
It had a name, I know, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
What was it called?
Sorry, Gail and Keith. The fucking war zone.
Oh, that's right.
And I remember there was a valet that had a thing for you, Scott.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that part.
That was before.
What was her name?
Gina.
Gina, thank you.
Yeah. No, Gina, didn't you guys meet up at a bar at some point at one time?
Something like that. Yeah. That was 97. That was way back there. That was
Alright.
way back there.
It happens.
Dave,
It happens.
Dave, did you ever go to any APW shows with us?
I think I went to like one or two.
One or
and I remember, didn't someone jump from that staircase where there was like a little row of people?
The
that you could
balcony.
sit there?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then someone, was it Crash?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know,
Yeah.
but I remember seeing someone jump from there. And then I remember in front of the big roll-up door, and they like just like destroyed each other. Like everyone scattered. Like the chairs just went everywhere, and they actually threw each other into the roll-up door like several times. I don't know.
Yeah.
They were just like full on.
That
Yeah.
was Vic and Rosano.
Yeah,
Going
that's right.
at it, and it was like, oh my god.
No
It was-
more of this.
It was great.
It was good times.
It was good times. And
I can't believe they put themselves through that much for what I'm assuming was no pay.
A hot dog.
Yeah.
Well,
Fettuccine Alfredo at Caro's.
Some of them were sleeping upstairs
With shrimp.
and in the weight room.
Modest had a room there, and I remember...
Donovan did too.
Yeah, I remember Modest... He went in to change or something, and we were up there.
Yeah.
And he had a bunch of wrestling figures in a box.
He had
right
a
in front
box
of
of
a TV.
LJN figures.
Oh, it was Donovan that had that.
Yeah. Was it Donovan? I thought
Yeah,
it was Modest.
because when you walked up the stairs, Donovan's room was right in front of you.
Yeah.
And he had the box of LJNs, but what Donovan said is he used to wrestle with them and get ideas for moves from those. And then if you went around the corner, that's where Modest's
Modest was
room.
like-
Yeah.
Do you remember plugging in our gear with all their makeshift outlets?
I do.
Extension cords plugged into extension cords.
So safe.
Right.
No fire hazard at all.
Just bare wires and stuff
Oh.
attached to it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I can't believe they're still around. You guys said you just went
They
or
are.
whatever. Like that's
Well,
crazy.
It's under different management now, and
It's
I know,
a bigger
but still,
deal,
just
too.
that just they're even around. Like
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And it's a much bigger deal. Like, it's a bigger production now.
yeah.
Like, they actually get bigger names coming in. And
Well, the thing is Roland never brought in the big names. Like when he brought in Manny Fernandez, Manny was like, whoa, that kind of caught us all off guard because we were so used to the Chris Cole, the Modest, the Donovans, the Frank Murdochs. We were so used to those guys. So when Manny came in, we were kind of like, what? You know, like, what's Manny Fernandez doing here? But when the new management took over and time went on, Marcus started bringing in names. You know, he brought in, like right now, he's bringing in Sean Spears from AEW. He's still bringing in names. He still brought in the Rock and Roll Express. You know, he's bringing in names now where Roland never did that.
Well, because now they have to. Well, back then they were competing against Big Time.
Well, technically, they still kind of are, but I don't know if that rivalry was what it was back then.
Yeah, but Big Time was always bringing in the big names.
They were always getting the Bret Harts to show up and just sign and stuff like that.
they brought in Legion of Doom at one point, too.
Was that at the KSJO?
That might have tied into... No, KSJO, when that happened, they were in WWE. But I'm talking in, like, the early 2000s. Like, around 2001, 2002. Big Time actually brought in Legion of Doom for an appearance.
That's right.
Yeah.
For the younger listeners, do you want to explain who the Rock and Roll Express are?
We did that a couple episodes ago.
Okay.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean. We did that a couple episodes ago.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure. Nobody left behind.
what was your guys' first autograph from a wrestler? Doesn't have to be on a figure, but what was the first autograph?
It was...
Because
I think it was
think
Bret
the
Hart
three of
at
us-
New Park.
Didn't the three of us go?
Well,
Because I remember going with you, and we went to like a comic book store that was upstairs, and it was Bret Hart.
right.
But I don't know if that was the first one.
That was at
and-
the Great Mall, right?
No.
This was at some comic book store.
Yeah, it was some random comic book store that was 2 stories.
At which mall?
It wasn't a mall.
It was like an
Oh,
outdoor...
it was a standalone comic book store.
Yeah.
But I don't know why
Really?
why wouldn't he have gone? Were you working
I
and I,
must
could
have
drive,
worked.
so
Well,
I took you, or...
I don't remember if Scott was supposed to meet us there, or he did meet us there, and he had to bolt right afterwards.
I don't remember.
The first autograph I got was Bret. But I want to say that happened at the Great Mall. We met him at
Okay.
one of the sports stores at the Great Mall, and I know you went...
this
and-
one was a comic store, like a sports card store, down Fremont-ish area, and I could have sworn the three of us went.
Dude,
know
I
you
don't
and
remember that
did.
one at
Yeah,
all.
you and I went, and I remember Brett was 2 hours late.
Yeah.
Because,
Oh, wow,
Because
really?
of...
He was on Montreal time.
He was not on Montreal. That's actually kind of quick and witty. But he was actually late because flight was delayed, and there was traffic. So he was like 2.5 hours late. People were getting out of line because they couldn't wait anymore. So that...
But we did.
Yeah, I know. We stuck around. I think that was my second autograph. I think that was my second time meeting Brett. The first time was with Scott because that was 96 when he took that little break.
Yeah.
And because it was right after he lost to Sean.
I'm pretty sure that was a Kirk White sponsored thing, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, and then they had it at some sports place at the Great Mall in Milpitas.
And that's when I was carrying around the cardboard cutout.
The cutout, that's right.
And everybody wanted to take a picture with the cardboard cutout. I'm like, why? You know, what's the point of that?
That was after WrestleMania 12, correct?
Correct.
Did you get a picture of Brett with the cardboard cutout?
No, I did not. It was basically set down your item, move along. That was it.
That would have been so literal.
But that was the first autograph I remember getting. The first one all three of us got together, I would guess, would be Legion of Doom in '97 at the KSJO store.
Yeah.
Which we actually kept. You were there too, right, Sean?
I don't think I
Did
went
you
to
go
that one.
Legion of Doom? Ed, was that you?
No.
Thank you. It must have been Nathan. So I remember we kept getting back in line and getting more autographs because I still have the WWF Spotlight issue signed on the cover, and there was a poster that you could pull out of it. It was like a full-size poster, and they signed that as well, and a couple of 8x10s. But we kept getting back in line, and I remember Animal showed up in full face paint. Hawk was late and showed up with his sunglasses on.
Yeah.
No face paint.
Was he drunk?
I don't know. If he was, I didn't smell anything.
Okay.
So he was hiding it well.
We were too young. We didn't know about that.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Now,
But I remember that one because that one was kind of funny because you guys kept getting back in line, and
Yes.
I didn't really have anything.
Yeah.
I think I got the free 8x10 and something else, and then they're like, let's get in line again, and I was like,
Because
okay.
I had like 5 things.
Because
dude.
the
Like,
line was so short.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there wasn't anyone there, and I remember it might have been right before we were going to Disneyland, and I had both of them sign my arm.
oh, if you could only have gotten it tattooed.
I remember because I didn't have anything, but I got back in line with you guys. I was standing there, and I walked up, I was like, sign my arm, and they signed my arm like right up
Oh,
here.
that would have been an awesome tattoo, dude. That would have been amazing.
So what's your
I'm
guys'
glad you didn't
most
get that as a
prized
tattoo.
figure that you have?
You know what? I'm going to say the Blue Blood set because of the story behind it.
Do you guys know the story behind that?
Please.
Yes.
I know.
Because Dave listens.
Do you want
That's
to go
up
into
there,
No,
right?
go ahead, Jeff.
No, basically one of our listeners kind of reached out to us and he said he was going to get us, is there any figures that you guys want? I have my brother's collection. His brother had passed away. And so he kind of took pictures and he sent them over and I said, I hate to ask, but the Blue Blood set. And he goes, I think I'm going to hold on to that. And he goes, because I still like William Regal and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, I completely understand, man. I understand. And then I want to say about 2 or 3 months later, he reaches out to me again. He says, what's your address? I give him my address and he goes, okay, well, be expecting something on your doorstep. I open it up. It's the Blue Blood set. And he wrote a nice little letter that basically said, when I listen to you guys, I listened to my brother who had passed away, and I know he would want you guys to have this. And those figures just have so much meaning behind him because of that story and that.
But it would be cool to get signed one day.
Well, I have Bobby Eaton's autograph on it.
Oh, that's right. You just need Lord William Fecal.
Okay, so that's Jeff's figure. How about you, Scott?
Well, no, that's from our shared collection. Would be a favorite from the shared collection. My own figure is the Macho Man San Diego Comic-Con, the Slim Jim figure.
Wait, that's your favorite figure out of everything you have?
Yes.
What?
Does
So
it,
if your
does it
house is on
smell like
fire-
Slim Jims?
If your house is on fire, that's going to be the figure you grab.
If I can grab one figure, ooh, that's a tough one. Because I do have some signed figures up, but... Okay, so I'm going to say it's a tie then. So I would grab the Macho Man Slim Jim, because he's in his box, and then I would grab my signed LOD 2-pack. And the signed LOD 2-pack, so basically the long story made into the short version is hard times, required me to sell some figures, and I had to sell my LOD Classic Superstars 2-pack, the first one. I had to sell it off for cash, and I think I sold it for like $80 or $90, something like that. Well, years later, Jeff bought me the re-release, and it wasn't exactly the same. They were in different gear. He bought me the set of LOD at a card show or a signing that we were at. And when we went to Atlanta in 2011, Animal was signing at a bookstore, and I handed him the set of figures, and he signed Animal on his, and then he signed Road Warrior Hawk and put HOF 2011 on the set, and I've got that up on the wall. So if I have to grab, I'm grabbing the Macho Man, and I'm grabbing the LOD set, and I'm running out the door. Oh, and the kids as well. Maybe the dogs, we'll see.
Hard times, baby.
Yes, hard times facilitated a sale, but it had a happy ending.
Sean, do you have any prized figures in your collection?
You see how juvenile this went? All I said was happy ending. And there's giggles and chuckles. And...
We are all still 13.
So the TNA Christian
Yes.
that you got signed for me.
Which you didn't know.
I didn't know. You just had to borrow it, and I thought that was weird.
Yes. You would borrow it.
Wait, you let him borrow it and not ask any questions?
Correct.
It was a no questions asked thing.
I
think I even said that when I borrowed it. I'm like, hey, I want to take your Christian figure for a little bit, but you can't ask why.
I'm a very trusting individual.
You were.
I expected it to be sticky when I got it back.
I actually took that to that crap show in the Cow Palace.
Right.
Whatever it was called, WrestleFest or whatever they called it. And that's where I got it signed for you in 2007.
The first Punk Elite, it was in the black box.
Yep.
I have a couple of Raven figures because I think I mentioned it before. Yeah, I am a huge Raven mark.
You did quote him a few times.
I did. I have a couple of Raven figures. One that I had, because I had every Raven figure they had released at one point. There was one that was a Toy Biz, and it came in a plastic bubble, but the bubble extended out of the back of the package. So you could actually see the back of the figure.
Okay.
And he was wearing a Daredevil shirt. It was black, and it had Daredevil.
Oh, yeah, the Bruiser series.
And, yes, and it was yellow circles around Daredevil.
That. Yep.
And then on the back, it had something. But I couldn't find a way to display it without ruining the top, because there was no way to attach it to the wall without bending the card, because the back part would bend away from the wall, so it would kind of... but Jax actually made some really good Raven figures.
Yes, they did.
They did. Some really good ones. And then when Jax got the TNA line and they released that Legends of Wrestling set, I have the Raven from that one as well. That's one of my favorites.
Which I think you got signed for Sean at a Wrestle Union.
Correct.
Yeah.
Sure did. Dave, are there any figures that you have in your collection, or any Funkos or G.I. Joes that you're just like, you still have up on the wall that you...
No, they are all in the shed, so I don't have to worry about that.
Are you not allowed to put them on the wall, or do you just not choose to?
Well, we technically do not have our own house.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you don't have a wall.
No. So most of the collection is all boxed up. I'm currently trying to pester my parents into building a 2-car garage in the backyard, so I can basically make a toy museum.
Nice.
And bring everything out, because I still have all my Star Wars, all the G.I. Joe, all of it. For, I guess, one advantage of not having a brother, I got it all to myself.
Yeah.
So unlike this other ones over here, you have to share, I didn't have to share.
Yeah.
So, one advantage.
That's why you got an aircraft carrier.
That's why I got an aircraft carrier.
And that's why you didn't.
And that's why I didn't. Thanks, Jeff.
So it's all my fault?
Again.
Yes.
And that's why we used to pummel you.
Yes.
Oh my
God. And your tag team partner, Pillow.
Oh my God, you too, man. You and Dave were the worst, man.
We were.
You know, I have to say this, though. Your tag team partner lived its gimmick.
Completely.
Yes.
Completely.
So backstory to that one is, whenever Dave would come over, we actually talked about those pillows, those armrest pillows.
I think last week or the week before.
Right. When Dave would come over, you and Dave would team up against me and the pillow.
Yes.
And so literally,
I broke up the brother tag team.
You did.
Yes, you did. Yes,
and
you did.
literally, you guys would just beat the crap out of me, and they're like, "Tag that pillow, you idiot!" And then
make you tag the pillow. Yeah.
And then you guys would beat up the pillow, and the pillow would take the eat the pin.
Would you guys double team the pillow?
Yes, they would.
Can you clarify, please, that statement?
Usually, it involves one taking one end and the other taking the other end. So you and Dave would split the pillow at the same time?
No, I just took Doomsday Devices.
The pillow would be on your shoulders?
Or I thought Dave was on his shoulders.
That's a weird Doomsday Device, but okay.
Ed, look at Dave and I. Do you think I could put Dave on my shoulders?
Yes.
Thank you.
But it was kind of funny. Dave would come over in the morning, and Dave would be all cool, and him and I would eat breakfast and watch the Jetsons. And
what were you eating?
We'd eat toast. And then the second Scott would wake up, Dave and him would just pick on me. And I'd be like, God damn it. I hate when Scott wakes up.
I wish he'd sleep forever. R.I.P. Scott.
That's when all the calls to mom and dad would happen at work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, we'd hear it when they got home. Oh. Stop calling me 18 times during my workday.
Grandma Toon.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So
I'm going to call your father.
Don't have to. We just did.
Yeah.
So great.
But she let us swear. That was awesome.
Yep. All over the Mike Tyson Punch-Out code, too.
There's numerous things.
Oh.
There's numerous things.
How do I get 30 lives in Contra? Don't worry about it, twerp.
Calling Dad.
Mm-hmm. And you did.
You did.
And that's why you didn't have the aircraft carrier.
Exactly. Thanks, Jeff.
It wasn't my fault that you did get the aircraft carrier.
100% your fault.
No, it wasn't. I can't believe everyone at this table except us had the aircraft carrier.
That's Ed had it.
That
Dude.
actually shocked the hell out of me.
Yes.
And you are referring to the large one that was like 6 feet long.
Yes.
Do you still have it?
Yes, I do, Scott.
Where is it?
My parents' house.
Gotcha.
In, because I think it was in 3 pieces, right?
It's probably a lot more than that.
Several pieces, I think.
Really? But
Yeah.
yours is completely disassembled, Ed? And
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Probably not 100% complete. The little walkie-talkie thing that came with it probably doesn't work.
Probably not.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
So, Jeff, do you remember when... I'm trying to remember which wrestling game had come out. It wasn't WrestleMania 2000, it was the one after.
2001.
Was it No Mercy? I think it was No Mercy.
No Mercy.
It was No Mercy.
2001, A Wrestling Odyssey. But I was really big into creating wrestlers.
Yes, you
like
were.
I would do the create a wrestler guy, and I would take requests, and I would build them all, and then we'd swap them on memory cards.
Yeah, we'd copy your memory cards.
Yep.
I remember hearing those stories. Like, Sean spent 6 hours doing whatever. I was
did.
like,
One guy.
You're
One guy.
ridiculous.
I had a lot of free time as a kid. But I remember we always wanted 3D in the game.
Yep.
And it wasn't in WrestleMania 2000, even though there was all the rumors that, like, Raven was in it, and, you know... I don't remember if the Dudleys were in that game or not, but 3D was not in that game.
I don't know. 2000 didn't have it.
Okay.
It was No Mercy that introduced that. Yeah.
So I remember that I found it while trying to create a wrestler. And I called Jeff, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like hyperventilating, and like I couldn't breathe. And I'm like, hey, he goes, what's wrong? And I go, 3D game. And he goes, what are you talking about? And I go, 3D is in the game. I can, yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, because you actually left a voice message on my voice recorder that I remember you used to have your own line.
Yes.
I took that line, and I had a voice recorder. And so Sean was like, oh, but yeah, you can do 3D. You have to hit the stick at the same time. And so I had just gotten home from school, and Leonard and I are sitting there, and we're trying to do it. Finally, Sean had to come over.
Now, for the record, Sean lived like 2 minutes away.
Right.
Yeah,
but
like
Sean,
a block and a half.
Yeah.
But Sean was like, oh, you just flip the sticks. You flip the analog sticks. And I'm like, Leonard and I are trying to do this, and it ain't working. And Sean's like, I'm tired of being on the phone. I'm going to just come over and show you guys how to do it. I was like, okay. So sure enough, Sean shows up 6 minutes later, shows us how to do it. We're like, oh.
And they were like, you can go now.
Yeah. Now you can go home. No, we can't play GoldenEye.
I just bought GoldenEye, by the way.
You just bought GoldenEye?
Well, I lost it, so I bought another one.
Your 64 still works?
Yes, it does.
Awesome.
Very good.
GoldenEye's a classic.
Yeah.
So we're going to wrap up this train wreck and welcome everybody from the Toys That Made Us. Sorry. You will get back to our normally scheduled programming next week.
Yeah, start back at like episode 20.
Before we go, can we take a call?
There is no calls. There are no calls, Ed.
Hello, you're on the hotline.
Any last words, you guys?
No.
I knew that was coming.
All right, I'll do it. Jeez.
Thank you, listener.
Since I'm the only one that actually listens to this show.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
You're also the only one getting a shirt out of this deal.
So thank you guys for listening to 199 podcasts.
Now he has something to say. Oh, wait, there's a t-shirt involved? That's some
I just want the pin.
It is a nice thing you guys do for the community.
Oh, thank you.
You know, you connect people together, you give news, you keep everybody up to date. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
On behalf of the people that listen.
But you are not part of that,
Thank you, Dave.
people.
I listened for quite a while.
You did,
I'm
yeah.
a little behind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, it's gone downhill.
Well, you know, I was on it twice, and then, you know, I didn't see a point.
I think the radio cannot possibly get better now.
I
can start
remember
listening.
when you were telling me about it, and I was like, obviously, I'd heard a podcast. I was listening to like Jericho's, and I think Austin's was out, and some wrestling ones. And remember, you guys said, and I was like, huh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a pretty hardcore niche.
Like, okay, I guess we'll see. And I remember downloading it, the first episode, and listening. I was like, huh, okay. Well,
First one wasn't that bad.
no, I mean, honestly, it really wasn't.
For
honestly,
not
I mean,
having a structure.
Yeah.
You still don't have a structure.
Well, not in this show.
Can you say that intro again, please?
Yeah. Hello.
I do remember that, man. It was just funny. Like, I told you about it, and you're like, okay. Like,
And I just remember I think then you texted me and said, oh, it's out, download it. And I was like, yeah, okay. Or
So
like,
you and 4 other people.
Yeah,
Download it.
yeah. Just to be clarified, I was the first one that left a comment in the comments.
Oh, that
Fig
was
Life royalty.
Yeah, look out.
Dave was
I know,
our first
I'm
5-star.
special. But I remember in the listening to it and then just over these past, all these episodes, it's just kind of crazy how it's kind of grown. Like, and this community is formed, the Fig Life, and it's kind of cool. I mean, I like looking at everyone's Twitter, 'cause mostly everyone's Twitter more than Instagram. But it's fun looking at all these guys like we never would have known of before. And, I don't post a ton, but like knowing who Hova is and seeing all his posts, like, that's pretty cool, man. That guy meets a ton of people. He's always wearing the shirt. And it's like, I love seeing everyone's posts. Nick G, like that guy, jeez.
Yeah.
Living it up.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, he's living his dream.
Living his dream. I like Mike the Cleaner.
Yep.
Mike the Cleaner is always
Cleaner's
Dude,
Hell
that
of a
guy, when him and Hova go back and forth about non-WWE and whatever, like, this is hilarious. And then Mike also posting about how he's taking people to the cleaner. Like on eBay listings and stuff. And he's like, I just got this fool or whatever about how he like scored something on eBay or sold something for like way over. That's hilarious. Like, I love seeing all that stuff and whatever. So it's kind of crazy. It's funny. I honestly did not think it would go this far. No offense.
Neither did we.
I love you guys, like, whatever, but I was like, damn, 200, look out.
It's been quite a ride. And to Dave's point, I don't want to go name by name because I really fear leaving somebody out, but whether it be a t-shirt purchase, an instant message on Twitter, a tweet to us, an email, or even in some cases a text message, anybody that has reached out or left a review on iTunes, anybody that's reached out to us by any form, thank you. I don't want to go name by name. I don't want to leave anybody out, but you know who you are. We definitely have our hardcore fans, and we love and appreciate you guys. And really, without you guys, this thing absolutely does not hit 200. There's no way. There's also no way that we're on the Toys That Made Us. That doesn't happen. We literally appeared on that show because you guys made it happen. So, again, without going name by name, this is just one big blanket thank you to everybody that made 200 episodes happen. And to touch on you a little bit, Jeff, I know we talked about this in episode 189. Ed, stop it. It is not down here. No, these are just words, Sean. It was not literally reaching out and touching Jeff. He gets weird about that. He's like Howie Mandel. He's like, germs and crap.
Scary Howie.
Yes. This show doesn't happen without you either. Because as Dave said earlier, this was your baby. It has been since day one. This was your idea. You're the one that set up for this show 5 microphones, a mixer, your laptop, some other device that I don't even know what that is, and I work in IT.
It almost looks professional.
It almost does. And in fact, I think before we break it all down, we should definitely take a picture of it. But this is just another example, and you running the Twitter as well. Like, this show, 100% is not a thing, much less 200 episodes old, not including special interviews, without you, Jeff. So I just wanted, from brother to brother, congratulations.
Thank you. That was actually really nice. I like it.
Round of applause.
Well, when you guys started, you were the only wrestling figure podcast.
That's correct.
There were none.
There were none.
Because I remember you looked. We were at work and you were trying to find one. You were like, I want something to listen to.
We hate to step on toes. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but you filled a gap that nobody had filled at that time.
Right. Yeah. Right. And now that podcasts are more of a thing, obviously there is no niche anymore. Pretty much everything is discussed.
Well, but because of this podcast, directly or indirectly, there are now other podcasts like it.
Multiple. Yeah. Yes.
So that's something you guys should feel great about. You've influenced other people to do something like this.
Yeah, and in terms of baseball, I would kind of refer to our podcast as the Cal Ripken / Iron Man of the Wrestling Figure Podcast, because we have had 200 consecutive shows. No breaks.
Nope.
And that does include special interviews in between weeks of release. So, without fail, 200 consecutive shows, and the only wrestling figure podcast of its kind at its launch. You made it happen, dude. You made us kind of like the Cal Ripken / Iron Man of wrestling figure podcasts.
We've worked through numerous illnesses.
But the listeners hear about it. We definitely tell them, we apologize in advance. You're going to hear throat clears and coughs and whatever else, sniffles, but we get through it.
Yeah, I remember What's that?
Bubbles.
Bubbles, yes.
Bubbles, yes.
A little more manageable over a podcast, though, as opposed to being in a restaurant. Stupid shrimp.
But I remember sitting there sweating up a storm because I had a flu. I had the 101-degree fever.
Which you actually had to go to the hospital in Orlando for.
Yes. I had to go to the emergency room for it.
Yes.
So, I mean, we've worked through numerous illnesses and still put out 200 consecutive episodes. And it's just something that you're just like, holy crap. You look back and you're like, 200 episodes, 200 consecutive weeks. And then in January, we have 4 years.
4 years.
And I know the years don't really mean anything to me. It's more about the episode numbers.
The episode count.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That to me is the big.
And let's not forget, you guys are selling freaking T-shirts with your pictures on it, and people are buying them. Like, that's...
I know. How narcissistic is that?
And wearing them front row at pay-per-views.
Yeah.
And during your podcasts.
And guilty.
Marks.
Hey, the shirts are comfortable.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys have anything planned for your 200th episode?
Well, we'll listen to this one back and see if we need to have a redo.
Man, I hope Barbara's on.
I wonder if the listeners can find her.
Well, she worked at Hayward Toys R Us from about, when we started was like around 85 up until the last time I saw her was around 2008 because I kind of stopped going to Hayward Toys R Us. Yeah, if anybody could put her in touch with us, that would be incredible.
That'd be hilarious.
Barbara from Hayward that worked at Toys R Us.
So I'm going to round it out there.
We're never going to be invited back, are we?
Nope.
Maybe for the 200th episode.
We can hope.
This is the 200th episode.
Oh.
So
No.
Yes.
So I do want to thank you guys on, even though it went a little off the rails a little bit.
Well, big credit to Big Dave for even suggesting this in the first place, because to be quite honest, we didn't really have a show idea.
So this is your fault.
I know. It's fine.
This is Dave's train wreck.
What are you going to do?
Way to go, buddy. Way to go.
But the only idea we had was like, okay, we'll talk about our favorite figure from the last 3 years that we've been doing, almost 4 years that we've been doing the show. Spoiler alert, San Diego Comic-Con Macho Man.
So, Sean, since you were customizing figures, can you make one of Barbara?
Oh, I wasn't, on video games. Yeah, I can make a Barbara.
I think you should.
All right.
Maybe she should be in the next shirt, too.
Ooh. Yeah.
I don't hate that idea.
Your toy angel.
But I don't have a picture of her. Like, I would have to go off of memory. I think I could do that.
Yeah.
I think I could. But yeah, big thanks to Big Dave for coming up with this concept. We loved it because you guys have been such a big part of our history in collecting toys and playing with toys and going out and hunting for toys. You guys were a huge part of that. And so thank you for being on this episode, and we'll get your t-shirts at the door. And your pins.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Riveting.
Incredible stuff.
Wow.
If this episode doesn't get the most downloads, I don't know what.
Ah,
I think it's all downhill.
I think episode 1 will get more downloads. Listen to this.
I think we peaked at 199.
I'm really curious how much gets left in this episode.
Well, what are we at, Jeff? A quick.
We're at 220.
Okay, so we'll have about 58 minutes an episode.
And we'll have a nice intro.
Yeah. 58.
Hello, and welcome.
Thank you for listening. The fully posable wrestling figure.
No, it's going to sound way better when you play it back, dude.
So as soon as we all leave, Jeff's going to re-record everything by himself.
He totally is. Yeah, he's going to sit here, like, dub us all out. Yeah. Or he's going to hit me up on text message, like, 45 minutes from now and be like, dude, we're recording on Wednesday. Episode 200. This will be a special episode, like a gag reel almost. Like the end of Cannonball Run.
I think what you should do is have figures for the guests to pose during the interviews.
Oh, we did.
I did get a picture
Man
of Macho Man's robe on your water bottle, but I'm not taking pictures of what's on the table right now with Macho Man and Elizabeth because
throughout this whole episode, you guys have just messed with those two figures. I'm surprised the joints have held up.
It's almost like you guys were reading a Kama Sutra book and then playing with Macho Man and Elizabeth.
No, we were reenacting what they've done in real life.
Oh, okay. Allegedly.
I'm sure they've done that.
Anyways.
I'm happy we're not recording this and putting it on YouTube.
So, Scott, for episode 200, this is going to be called Trainwreck.
It absolutely is going to be called Trainwreck.
It's just going to be the opening and the ending.
And here we thought Amy Schumer had the worst Trainwreck ever. Nope, it's episode 200.
Oh, because she was in a movie called Trainwreck, right?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Is this as bad as Brock Lesnar's face in that new figure?
Oh, the shitting face figure?
Sorry, Keith and Gail.
Probably not as bad as Brock, but I would say as bad as HBK's figure. Yeah.
Is this as bad as Lemon Becky?
Ooh.
question.
Lemon Becky is bad.
Yeah. Yeah, Lemon Becky's pretty bad. This is not as bad as that.
Okay.
And it might not actually be that bad when you're listening back to it, Jeff.
Oh, it's going to be horrible.
We'll talk tomorrow.
Now, what's the worst figure?
Of what?
All time.
Oh, the Rick Rude LJN.
The first China.
No.
Well, wait. The first China would have been a BCA, correct?
Yes.
A BCA style?
Around that time. I mean, they could barely get men right. I don't think they got a woman right.
Scott had it right with the LJ and Rick Rude. There's nothing else.
Yeah, for me, it's the LJ and Rick Rude.
Yeah.
For being a figure you were supposed to play with as a kid and having the hands on the hips, you couldn't do anything with that. You couldn't pose
Jeff,
him.
the Hitman Toy Biz
Terrible.
Bret Hart figure is not as bad as...
No.
Okay.
So it's not ravishing?
No, not even remotely close.
But all the ladies seem to love it.
That they do, but they hated the LJN.
Scott, for episode 200.
Ba-dum-bum.
Anything else?
Yes, thank you to the Fig Life crew for making 200 episodes happen. Thank you for our brothers in the room here. Happy toy hunting.
Thank you to everyone for listening to episode 200. Hashtag Fig Life. Adios.
She has really masculine legs.
Yeah. Fullyposeable. Let's go. Jeff and Scott, the Toon Brothers, busting out the ring. But we don't take it out the box, MOC. Happy toy hunting, we'll see you next week. We're the OGs of WFP. Fullyposeable, thank you all for listening. It ain't no storyline, real life siblings. So everybody go and do your toy spotting. Hashtag Fig Life, adios from the Kings.